me that you developed a game.
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about it?
I do want to talk about it because there's not a lot of people that you talk to who are like, oh yeah, I made a game.
It was fun. Like it all started with so we presented our group projects and like the ideas, and our idea was to make a little arcade. So we were actually going to do like Frogger and like Galaga and just like remake a bunch of these old games. And my cousin, who was in my group, was just like, let's make our own. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what kind of game are we going to make? And he was like, well, this is what we can think of, like, feasibly do right now. I was like, how about a dungeon crawler? So we did a dungeon crawler.
And it worked. He showed me before we went live, and it legit, like, it's a dungeon crawler.
It's a lot of fun. And actually, the puzzles that we made are actually pretty fun and pretty complicated to solve. Yeah, I may have to try it later.
Yeah,
it's
I want to try it.
Yeah.
Can anyone play it, or is it still...
It's live on the internet.
Oh, it's 100% live, so someone could go over and make an account and play?
Mm-hmm.
What's the address?
Vindermeer.com.
Vindermeer.com. So if you guys want to check out Ryan's game that he created for a project, it's actually pretty dope. I like it.
It's pretty fun.
Got to get some AdSense on there. Run the traffic through.
Yeah, there's not any traffic right now, so
I mean,
okay.
It's a project, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Beaver. Howdy.
Hello.
Howdy, partner.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. It kind of was this. We kind of built as we went. It was like, hey, we set a bunch of these goals in the beginning, and I mean, we blew past them in like 2 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were way past them by the end of week 1. We were like, this is so snowballed from where we started.
Now you took. Speaking of our main topic, which we're going to talk about, just living in Utah and stories and funny shit like that, but. When we were at Woods Cross, you were in that gaming class that Carter hosted.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it last time, where we ended up not really learning.
Oh, I didn't learn anything. We just played World of Warcraft.
Yeah, all day. All day long. It didn't matter what fucking day we were doing, what project was going on.
Yeah,
we didn't care.
We pretty much, let's see, we built the computers, and then after that, we just played Warcraft 3 with the entire class. Or we played Halo a bunch as well.
Yeah.
Halo 1, because you could download it at the time.
And there was that kid that sat, because we were in the back row.
Yeah, back
he sat. Yeah, he sat in front of us, and he was playing Happy Wheels. I remember that because Happy Wheels blew up like a year later.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, man, that kid was a hipster.
Yeah, and then there was a. Remember Nicholas Bradshaw?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you hear what happened to him? He got arrested.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he So apparently he was into children.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, so I don't know what ended up happening, but he was in one of the stings with the FBI. So that was interesting, but he was in that class too.
Yeah, he was. Holy shit, I didn't know that. Well,
yeah, about a year ago it got posted on KSL that he was arrested.
Hey, well, if you're listening to this, fuck you, Nicholas. You piece of shit. Man, what the hell?
Yeah. But, yeah, that game, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Jeez. It's kind of crazy and scary when you think about the fact that there's people that we went to school with that are
fucking weird.
Bad
Yeah.
people.
But Jess Perry was in that class with us.
Yeah, that's right.
It was fun. Let's see, I'm trying to think of other people that were in that class. Marcus Charles. You remember him?
Vaguely.
He had glasses, kind of blonde hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was in that class.
He was the kid that was smart as fuck, wasn't he?
He's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Went to Utah State with him for a bit. We had a couple classes.
Who was the... Man, I feel like it... Brandon Gutierrez was in that class.
Yes, he was.
I just played COD Warzone with him like a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's he doing? I haven't seen him in 7 years.
He's doing good. I think he lives in... God, I can't remember where he said now. It's wherever the Mayan temples are, or Aztec temples. He said it was like 25 minutes from his house. Yeah, I just can't remember which part. Yeah, he lives down there.
Gotcha.
But he seems to be doing good.
That's cool.
He's pretty good at COD, so. That's always a good gauge of character.
I remember when we used to come over to your house and play Modern Warfare 2 and then play basketball.
All night long.
And then we sometimes USV fight.
Yeah.
And that was always entertaining.
We played 21 basketball.
Oh, we played 21
hours.
for 4 hours a day.
Oh my god.
All day.
With how much 21 we played, we should have been fucking NBA players. Jesus.
Yeah, we played a lot of basketball. Me, you, Eric. Let's see.
Kyle,
Kevin.
Levi was there
every once in a while.
He's one person. Cody. Levi is one person that I cannot find anywhere on social media.
So last I heard, so I'm actually still friends with his ex, Allie.
Yeah.
Kale. So last I heard is when they went down there together, they broke up, and then he fell off the face of the planet. No idea what happened to him. He's a cool kid.
Yeah, I liked him in high school.
Yeah, he was fun.
I tried reaching out to him because I had, you know how everyone had a Facebook at some time.
Yeah,
he had a Facebook on my original one, and I messaged him one day like, "Hey man, long time. Are you still in Bountiful or whatever?" Because like, well, maybe we go grab a bite to eat or something. But he never replied. It was fine. Does Kevin still live up by you?
I have no idea. I haven't talked to the kid in probably about a year at this point.
Yeah.
He's married to a woman that was a year older than us. What's her name? Melanie. Really skinny, long blonde hair.
That doesn't help. That's
I know. I'm trying to think of her first name. She ran cross country.
Oh, they both did, right?
They both did, yeah.
When she went to Woods Cross?
Yeah. She was a year older than us.
Oh, man.
Can't remember her name to save my life, maybe because her last name's now Edmonster, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, so he's married. I actually talked to Kyle Cook a year and a half ago.
He reached out to me on the Facebook, and he said he wanted us to all hang out. And I feel like a dick because I'm really bad at planning outside of the podcast because like I just get my brain gets overwhelmed sometimes. So I'll reach out to him again. Maybe we can go to a bar or something and just kick it.
Yeah, I tried reaching out to. I talked to him a little bit, and I don't remember what happened.
I think he's got a kid or two now.
He's got a couple.
Yeah.
Last I heard before that was he had 2, but I'm not 100% on that because I know coming out of high school he had 1. So.
Yeah. I tried talking. I don't remember the last time I reached out to Eric.
I'm friends with him. I was friends with him on Facebook last time.
Yeah.
He's got a kid too.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I know that he got married.
He got married. They had a kid about probably 6 months now. No.
I remember.
They're down in Florida, I think, still.
Yeah. I know there was a whole bunch of shit that went down around here with him, like in regards to, I don't know. Even in high school and outside of high school, I tried my best to not get involved in other people's drama. And I really we were kids. We're all different now, I would hope, than when we were even 3-4 years ago.
Agreed.
But, I think that there was some stuff that happened. I don't really remember all the details, but he ended up not having anywhere to stay, and he just moved to Florida or something along those lines.
His mom, I believe, moved to Ohio again. And him and his stepdad never really got along anyway. But now they're better because something happened with his dad, and both him and his older brother Lee changed their last names to Taylor.
Yeah. I saw
which is their stepdad's last name. So I think they kind of had a reconciliation with the stepdad.
Well, that's good.
And I went to college with Lee. Lee was fantastic. He's dating somebody for I don't know.
Yeah, a while.
And he was like a assistant coach for like a college football team somewhere. So I mean, he was doing great.
Lee was like, I don't know how to word it without using stupid new terms, but Lee was low-key one of the most brilliant kids I knew.
Yeah.
And he was so just one of the humblest kids I've ever met in my life. Like, really through high school, he was great at wrestling. No one knew that he was a fucking 4.0 student in most AP classes, from my understanding.
No, he kind of kept to himself a lot. I mean, he came and hung out with us. I think the only reason was because we were friends with Eric.
Yeah.
But I mean, we played basketball. We played basketball. What was it, Junior Jazz that one year? That was so much fun.
And then Because he used to hang out with us quite a bit.
Yeah, he'd come hang out, and I mean, he was really good at stats. I mean, he kept all of our stats the entire time we played junior jazz, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
The other thing that I loved about him is, like, he had a goal in high school to be involved in, like, professional sports.
Yeah.
And he is.
Yeah, he was doing that in college, too. Like, he was part of the radio station up there, and I mean, all of his roommates were football players up there, and it was funny enough, actually, one of them grew up. So when I lived in Murray before I moved to Bountiful, Gary Anderson, U of U's former coach, lived across the street from me.
Oh, okay.
And all of his 3 sons, like Hagen, Chasen.
Interesting.
But but yeah, he lived across the street, and they were roommates up there. One of the Utah State football players was roommates that I grew up with in Murray. So it was like this weird connection. And I went over to their apartment all the time. We drank a bit. It was super fun. Like, even in college, we chilled. I mean, we went to lunch all the time. It was a lot of fun. Like, I really like Lee.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And then he lost a bunch of weight.
Oh, I mean,
good as shit.
He is not the same person he was in high school, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that he was bad in high school, don't get me wrong. He was awesome in high school, too. I mean, he did a lot of cool stuff later on.
That's the cool thing is, like, you really start to realize the people who sadly peaked in high school and haven't really
done anything since.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it, like, adulthood is overwhelming and kind of shitty some days, but, like, you can't let that get you down every day, like.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to live comfortably and have fun.
Yeah, keys to be happy, man.
Yeah.
If you're happy with what you're doing, all the more power to you.
Yeah, and it's all subjective. I think people put too much stock into thinking, like, what they see on, like, Instagram or something like that. Like, oh, well, this person has 4 Bugattis and a fucking mansion. It's like, is he happy? Do you know? Have you had a conversation with him? Yeah. Is he too stressed to enjoy it? Is he just doing it for more money? Like,
or to impress people.
Yeah, there's not enough context behind social media, which is, I guess, the point, because we're just supposed to see a snapshot, but...
Well, part of it is the fact that nobody posts the bad stuff that happens to them. So you only see the good, so you don't see what's going on in the background.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't generally participate in social media.
Yeah.
So.
I always tell everyone that if I ever decide to stop doing the podcast or, you know, life leads me in a different direction where I can't, I will never be on social media again. Yeah. It's so toxic and gross, and
it's just a waste of time, too.
It's a waste
there's other things you could be doing with them.
People are so worried about shit that's just not even relevant. Like, why are we spending time arguing on social media? Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
yeah.
That is what it is. I have people in my life who will sit there and, like, argue in comments, and I'm like, but why? Why? Go read a book. There's a lot of good books out there, my guy. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I'm not a fan.
No, it's rough. But anyways.
Yeah, let's see. What other things did we do? Do you remember the potato cannon?
Yeah. And how we
went and shot it off in the park next to your house.
So, to give some context, right?
I remember that.
We built the potato gun. Lee was there.
Lee was there. Eric was there. I was there. Kyle was there.
Was Kyle there? I don't think Kyle was there.
No, Kyle wasn't there.
I think it may have just been us 4.
I think it was just the 4 of us.
Because that was the same day we saw the rat, right?
Oh, yeah, it was.
Okay, I'll give you guys some context before we get going here. So we decided to make a potato gun. And if you guys don't know what a potato gun is, it's some PCP piping. PVC. Jeez.
There you go. You're good.
Had a stroke. PVC piping, and you create an igniter.
It's a barbecue igniter, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And then you spray some hairspray in the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can close it so there's no air. You shove a potato in there, and then when you click it, it ignites the hairspray, creates back pressure, and shoots potato. Don't fucking go and do this. You didn't learn it here, okay? Forewarning.
It's easy to Google, so it's not like it's hard.
So we went down to my neighborhood, which, for those of you who know where I live down in Woods Cross, so it's a very quiet, contained neighborhood, and we didn't even know it was going to work. This was the first time we've used it. Shove the potato down there, put the hairspray, click it, and this thing just goes, boom!
It shoots the potato, like, into somebody's yard.
Launches this potato. And, So, anyways.
Yeah, that was an interesting day. I mean, I think we built like 3 of them, didn't we?
Yeah, we built 3 of them. The crazy part was when we were walking back, do you remember those kids at the corner who, like, those 2 girls who started talking mad shit?
I don't. Oh, yeah.
And, like, we had no idea, like, why.
Yeah.
Weren't
they just, like, yelling at us randomly?
Yeah, they were saying a whole bunch of rude shit, though, if I remember right.
Yeah, I don't remember what they said, but yeah, that was an interesting day.
Yeah, it was.
Just in general.
Well, yeah, as it got more interesting, so we launched Potato Can, we were like, oh my god, this worked too good. Should probably leave.
Yep. Especially since there was a lady, like, looking out her window at us. And we were like, let's not be here any longer.
So we walked back to my house. I think we left the guns there, the potato gun, and then we started walking to the park. And as we're walking up the street, some lady starts screaming, and there was a ginormous rat. Like, we're talking like
cat size.
Huge cat-sized rat. Okay, and I can't remember what she said, but all I remember is Lee not hesitating, going over there and booting that rat like 20 yards. Just hard as shit.
You almost kick it over a fence.
Yeah.
Like, hit the top of the fence.
What's up, Guns Squad 310? We can hear you. And what's up, Twitch TV Mini Mellow? Hello. Yeah, it was a weird night. I don't remember what we did with the rest of the evening, but
I think we just played Modern Warfare the rest of the evening. I mean, we were there we probably stayed up till like 4 in the morning like usual.
That was a definite regular down in that basement of my house.
Yeah. Yeah, your parents were pretty chill with us not doing just about whatever the heck we wanted.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was good.
No, it was a good time. That basement's totally different now.
Oh, did you remodel it?
Yeah, remodeled it.
Did you remodel the whole house?
No, not the whole house, just a couple rooms.
Gotcha.
The basement, did some wood flooring and different things along those lines. And
nice.
There's nothing in that basement anymore, though, sadly. Like, that big TV, that big fucking box TV we had, I took it out of the house and put a free sign and came home to, like, some kids down the block, like, we're wheeling it down the street. Like, I hope it brings you as much joy as it did me.
Yeah, that was a good TV.
Yeah. But that was, I mean, fuck, we probably played between Call of Duty and Halo and then random nights going to, like, Hall of Video and shit. We probably played tens of thousands of hours of games there.
Yeah.
At least.
GTA 5. Not really. I have in the past. It's okay.
I did quite a bit of GTA 5, like, near its original release on the Xbox One, but I've fallen off since. Like, it just...
I played a bit when it came out on Steam,
Yeah.
but, I mean, I own it. It's just not...
It was free on the Epic Game Store, like, a month ago or something like that. And I was like, oh, shit, cool. Gun Squad asks, you like pizza? The fuck you think, bud? Come on now? Yeah. Pizza's the shit.
Cheeseburger. Something like that.
Now, GTA 5, like, I don't know. Grand Theft Auto, for me, the most fun that I ever had was those nights we'd play, like, GTA 4 or whatever and just, like, switch off going and, like, getting how many stars we could and trying to survive for the longest time possible. And, you know, that was more fun to me. The GTA 5 story was good. Like, it was fun.
I never finished it.
It's not bad. And the online's fun, depending on what you do, but...
Yeah.
Mini Mallow asked Apex or Fortnite. Apex for me, personally, if we're picking between those two.
Neither. Never played either one.
Hey, you're not wrong. That's a good call. I tried Fortnite dozens of times.
I watched a tournament of Fortnite with somebody, and I don't remember why.
Yeah.
But it was like this tournament where if the guy beat a celebrity, he won like $10,000 or something like that. I don't remember, but
Fortnite for me, like, so when it came out originally and it started getting all the hype, I got on and I played a bunch and I was like, okay, well, I get it. Like, I get why people like it. It's cool. And then I fell off and it was kind of like steady going. And then I gave it a second chance, and by that time, everyone was so fucking good that skill gap between building and like not knowing how to build was too far to enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm.
So now I really think that the only people who play Fortnite are fucking savages, and trying to get on that game and play just casually is pointless. And Apex is just like a, I don't know, stereotypical like kind of like faster paced shooter, but with that battle royale style. Like,
gotcha.
You know, you have a limited time before it closes. And you have to go into a different area. And,
yeah, I've heard Apex is pretty good. I just haven't ever played it.
Yeah, I don't know. Shooters in general for me just don't. The only shooter that I've probably played consistently for the past like 5-6 years is Overwatch, and that's mostly like I'll play it for like a week, play like 20 hours, and then not play it again for a couple months.
I have played a total of 1 game of Overwatch.
Yeah? Well, shit. Oh, what's up, Forrest? That's like me and Sex. I've been going so long, the skill gap isn't fun. God damn it. That's okay. There's at a point where the skill gap like is so vast where it's like 30 seconds is like, I can't even control that. You know? It's tough. They keep getting more skilled and I keep getting less skilled. It's a real struggle. Come closer. You come here. Come over here, Mini Malo. I'll hold you. Put this body on you.
This took like weird left turns.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Like your beard? His beard is magical.
Mm.
You're the only person that is allowed on this show to have a better beard than me.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, once anyone else, like, hey, yeah, we can reschedule in a couple months when I catch up.
I've been growing it for a while.
No. Last time he came on, and I had recently shaved, and I hated my life.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't hurt me.
I won't hurt you.
I will brag, Forrest. What you got?
30 seconds. 35 on a good day. Depends on how long I take that last stroke. You feel me?
Oh, God.
So let's get back to Davis County.
Pamela Henderson, your best friend there.
I don't know. I think going to Woods Cross was pretty enjoyable for the most part, at least from my point of view, because like there was cliques for sure. Like there was definitely groups.
I've heard they weren't that bad, honestly, compared to other schools. I mean, I guess I obviously don't have like a way to test that because I didn't go to any other school.
I think too, it's one of those things where like I think it was good, and I don't think there was a lot of negativity. But then I'm sure if you ask certain people, they were like, "Oh, I fucking hated it."
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know,
I'm sure.
I don't know. I've talked to different people from our grades, specifically like over the last however many years we've been out of high school. Most people seemed to have enjoyed most of the social aspect. Obviously, some people just don't fucking like school. But
I hated high school, but
yeah.
I mean that's just me.
Yeah.
I had a good time chilling with people, but I didn't like school itself.
No, I don't know. I think the whole idea of us having to go and get specific educations in areas that aren't anything we're interested in is such a caveman theory in 2020. I think that it's something that we really need to look into and change. Like, okay, well, let's say like I'm going into high school, right? But I love accounting because I did go into high school. Why can't I just take specific classes in high school to better my chances of becoming that thing that I want to do? Now, granted, I know that like when you're 15, 16, like you really might not know what you want to do.
Yeah.
But why am I required then to take a fucking art class when I don't have any art skill or interest?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You know,
I mean that, and they don't really teach useful skills.
No.
Like they have like U.S. government, but they don't actually teach you how to do like taxes or voting or. I mean,
the only thing that's weird is our school had a class that taught us that, but it wasn't. It was specifically only that.
Yeah.
It was a financial lit class, and I remember we learned our taxes. I learned how to do stocks a little bit, like some investment things, like savings and balancing or different thing like that. But it was an elective, and it wasn't one of those classes where they're like, oh yeah, you could go and learn useful knowledge. It was just, when you're looking at your electives, it was just one of those classes.
It was required, if I remember correctly.
Was it?
Yeah. I did it online and didn't really learn anything from it, but yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else then. So I remember taking a class where I totally learned how to do my taxes.
That was the accounting with Carter.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that is. Minnie Malo says, I'm 14U. I am 25.
26.
And I will be 26 in 2 weeks. Turn on the LED lights.
Miss Blackham taught me how to send a letter in the mail. Miss Blackham was amazing. I loved her as an English teacher.
Yeah, Miss Blackham.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
She always joked that I couldn't sit on one side of the room, though.
Why?
Because I always sit sideways in those desks, and she always wanted me facing her. So she would make up the seating chart, and I would always be on the same side of the room.
She was
funny. She also was like, didn't bother really with me because we had to read a certain number of pages per semester.
Yeah.
And she never even bothered, like, knowing whether I did or not, because she's always, like, telling me to put a book down. So it was like, when she's like, well, how many pages did you read this semester? I was like, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500. She's like, well, you were supposed to read 300 or 400. And I was like, well, I think I got that covered.
Yeah, we're good. Overachiever, Blackham. She got a bad rep, and I don't really know why. I think it's just, like, high school stuff. But, like, as far as teachers go, she's someone that I always will remember just because she allowed for...
What LED lights?
I guess so. If it's going to work.
Oh,
that's for that one. It's not plugged in.
There's other LED. Oh, okay.
They're not going to be bright for you, but they're on. I'll have to turn on the light, or turn off the light, and I don't want to do that right now. There you go. I think she just got a bad rep because she was... I don't know.
I think it's because she wasn't the AP teacher. I think probably would be why she got a bad rep. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird when you look back on. I had this conversation with someone not too long ago where you look back at teachers, right? And teachers are their own anomaly because we look back at adults when we were kids and we're like, oh yeah, let's do this or whatever. But teachers are their own like. We hold such a different opinion of teachers when in reality, all they're doing is their job that they want to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because when we have teachers, like before college, right, we're still maturing and still trying to figure out who we are, that teachers can vastly change who you are, or at least how you look at somebody. And I feel like Blackham, she was a great teacher, but she was also like not willing to give like people would give her shit and she'll dish it right back.
Yeah, she's pretty funny. I actually got an interesting perspective when I was a TA for a teacher. Because you got a little bit of a different side of them. I mean, I TA'd for Orm's biology class. Oh my god, he's hilarious.
Yeah?
Yeah, I loved it. It was hilarious. It was different because he didn't treat you like a student, and it was just... like you got this weird like side perspective of them teaching while you were just in the back grading or whatever.
Right.
It was kind of fun.
I TA'd for Coach Allen in her sociology class.
Yeah, so I TA'd for them, and then I did the checkout or whatever attendance office, I guess.
Oh hey! Don't do that.
Push the red button.
I keep grabbing the wrong button.
Push the red button. There you go.
We don't need that right now.
Yeah, but it was interesting. I think my favorite experience with that was I had a couple people that were a year younger than me, obviously in the biology class, and they tried to bribe me to give them a better grade.
Classic.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. And then I actually told Orm about it, and he like made an announcement in class. And they like never talked to me again, and I was like, oh, whatever. I just thought it was funny. I was like, I'm not going to give you a better grade.
It was funny. So in Coach Allen's sociology class, which she did like looking back, she did a fucking phenomenal job,
Yeah.
and probably could have been teaching that. The way that she taught that class, she could have easily done that at university. Like it was a great class, especially like an intro into sociology. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
One of the things that she does every term or semester is the school cop. I can't remember his name.
What was his name? I can see him. He got short.
Sheldon?
Sheldon, yeah.
Sheldon, yeah.
Cup Sheldon.
He busts into the door, right?
Uh-huh.
And whoever the person is that's like the target for the
Yeah.
experiment, he'll point at you and go, "You piece of shit, you parked in my spot." And he comes over and fucking like full on like gets you, drags you out of the class, cussing and swearing or whatever. And I can't really remember the subject that it led into, but being the TA, I was that person, and it was so awkward, right? Because he's like, "Yeah, I'll come by at this time, and we'll do or whatever." And he's like, "Is it okay if I kind of rough you up?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I do it for the kids, you know." And he came in there, and he's strong as shit.
Yeah, he did kind of beat the shit out of him.
Well,
I mean, Sam Martell was a difficult child when it comes to high school.
Didn't he punch Matt in the face?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember that.
Matt Belay.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Shout outs to you guys. I don't know
I mean,
what the fuck you're up to.
I also remember setting Sam Hartell's house on fire at one point. We were hanging out in his garage playing with gasoline and skateboards.
As you do.
Yeah, so I remember doing that. I don't remember why the hell we were up there, but that was pretty funny.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Gun Squad. Huh? That's for you.
Let's see. Who else did? Yeah, I haven't seen Matt Millay in years. Whatever he's up to.
I actually saw. I don't know. There was a time period where the group of people I was hanging out were hanging out with him, but I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time in that group.
Gotcha.
Specifically.
Yeah, I just haven't seen a lot of those people forever.
Yeah.
I saw Andy Lambert. I about 2 years ago I went and hung out at Kevin's house. He had like a board game night he invited me to. I'll be honest, I was the odd man out there because they were all people who ran track and were all very LDS, and I was not.
Yeah, that's always fun.
So I mean, it was a good time. Don't get me wrong. They made me. It was fun, but it just was kind of interesting, like sitting there listening to them talk about things. And
it's a vastly different world.
It was, and it was like Andy. It was Chase. I'm trying to think of his last name right now.
Gregerson?
No, he ran track with all of them.
Oh, I don't know.
Chase, and
probably something white, right?
Yeah.
Let's go with Anderson.
I don't remember what his name was, but there were a bunch of people there, and it was fun. But they were all talking about their missions and everything, and because they'd all just gotten back, and it's like
you're over here like, yeah, this one time in college I drank a fifth of whiskey.
Did I tell you that story?
No.
That was the first time I got drunk.
Oh no!
First time I got drunk, I drank almost an entire fifth of whiskey.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it big.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting night. I texted somebody I hadn't seen in years and decided that she was beautiful and told her so like 10 times in 5 minutes.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
She has to be aware.
Yeah,
that's my current girlfriend, but I'm not drinking.
The best part was that she had a boyfriend at the time, and still does. Same boyfriend, but...
If he had a problem with it, then he must not think she's beautiful.
I don't know if he ever found out about it. They both went to Woods Cross.
Nice. Twitch TV Mini Mellow, thank you for the follow, and I am your daddy. There you go. That one's for you.
Let's see, who else? What else did we do?
I want to bring in a yearbook and have I've thought about creating a Woods Cross 2012 page and trying to get everyone on there.
There's not one.
Because I mean, we're doing a 10-year, right?
I assume so.
I'm sure.
It all depends on all this COVID stuff.
Yeah. So I was going to create it and start getting people on close to that.
They did a 5-year.
Yeah, I didn't go.
Neither did I.
Not many people did, and the people who did said it was whack as shit.
Same.
5 years just isn't enough time. It's still fresh. 10 years, I'm like, yeah, I forgot half of you fuckers.
Yeah,
I just want to go and see who, like, what people turn into.
Yeah, seriously.
Mostly. Just, like, we should make a bet, like a betting game. Go through the yearbook and just, like,
Oh my
put,
god,
like,
that'd be amazing.
the wins and losses.
Let's do that.
Sure, she's taking a big L.
That'd be pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, I'm really not this petty. It's all just for jokes. But when you have when they have an open bar, I will go to a reunion. Yeah, that would be
Utah.
fun.
Yeah, good luck.
I'll make it happen.
Hey, we can have an after party. I'm down.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to try and get a Woods Cross 2012 page going, and then try and get people on here. And then when the 10-year anniversary happens, actually do something cool with it, not just like, let's go run around our old high school. Like, who gives a fuck?
Have you seen the new high school? All the construction shit?
Yeah. Doesn't even look the same.
It's not.
South Davis didn't even look the same by the time we graduated.
Well, I mean, South Davis, we had all the pain of the construction and saw none of the benefits because we were there for the 2 years.
And I still donated $5 for that fucking sign, and it was never done by the time I graduated.
Yep.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, it was some bullshit. It was like 3 years after we graduated high school.
Right. Mini Malo, I can't turn off the lights, but if you come back on Sunday, we will have all the lights off and a better red light just for you for a specific show.
Ooh.
I have a show called Daxcast. Well, I'm a co-host on a show called Daxcast, and we do the whole entire setup red light with no other light.
Oh, nice. Get up. I'll give you
Listen, if you send $5, I'll get up and turn the light off. Like, I'm not opposed to that, but I'm not going to just turn the light off for no reason. I'm not saying to give me money, because I'm not about that, especially here on Twitch. But if you do, I will try and fulfill every request I can. I try to be a generous host.
So I could pay you to do things, is what you're telling me.
There's a price for everything, Ryan. There's a price for everything.
That could turn really weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who's been on here that is actually doing really well? Seth
Jackson?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that kid in forever.
I've hung out with him actually a couple times post high school, and we actually worked. We did a job out in Houston. Me, him, and James.
Loftus?
Drove to Houston.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How's James doing? I haven't seen him forever either. He's still in Cali, right?
Yeah. So honestly, he kind of turned into what I would arguably say was one of my best friends 3 or 4 years ago. He came in, him and Weston used to come into Domino's, or Gavin, for those of you who are more inclined.
Yeah.
He used to come into Domino's all the time and would order pizzas or whatever and be like, oh, hey, what's up, man? And then over time, he was like, he said something about a job, and I'm like, well, I'm hiring. I'm like, I can get you on tomorrow if you want. He's like, cool. And then after that, we just hung out or whatever, and he kind of seemed like there was some struggles going on here in Utah, like, you know, hard to find a cheap place to live, and, you know, Bountiful and Davis County just aren't really
conducive to that.
Yeah, it's hard to live places that are decent living on, you know, a non-salary job. It's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Nicest way to put it. And I think just through time of trying to figure that out, and, you know, also trying to grow and mature, it just was a difficult situation, and he ended up going back to California. And I think he's doing a lot better. I know that he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, and I believe there's a child as well. I don't know I think it's his stepchild, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, she had a child. He came back and visited, I don't know, last year. He lost a bunch of weight.
Badass.
He was super skinny. His girlfriend, very nice. And, yeah, I think that she has a kid that was 9-ish, somewhere along those lines. But I've talked to him every now and then over text or whatever social media he's on, and everything seems to be going well. So
I haven't talked to him in a couple years. Talked to Ryan Peterson not terribly long ago.
Yeah.
I saw him, a year and a half ago now?
I haven't talked to Ryan in a long time.
Yeah, he was living up at Utah State, and he was just in the Army. Army.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was doing good.
Garrett at Workland 4 years ago. I've actually hung out with Garrett a couple times. I think he's doing pretty well.
Huh. Yeah, I haven't seen Garrett Detweiler in 7 years. I haven't seen him since we graduated.
Yeah, I saw him not too long ago. He seems to be doing well. I think he works at the airport. He's trying to get his pilot license.
Oh, badass.
If I remember right. Like, don't quote me on anything, people. Like, you never know. People change every day.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to think of other people that we used to hang out with a bunch. I mean, there was Cody, what's his stick, Samuelson? Yeah, that one.
I haven't. I don't know. I haven't talked to him since.
I haven't either. I haven't talked to him since high school, but I saw him the other day because I think his dad still lives up above me.
Gotcha.
And he's driving a Duramax, so I mean, he got his Duramax.
You know what? He stuck with it. Good for him.
He got it. I honestly, I mean, we weren't really ever friends, the two of us, but
I tried.
I tried too.
Just, I don't know. There's one kid that I said that I probably was a dickhead to in high school. It's probably him.
Same.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
He made a couple comments early on, and then I was just full on blown, just a dickhead to that kid. Which, hey, if you're listening, no hard feelings. I'm sorry. We were young.
Yeah, I mean,
if you ever want to come on the podcast, you're welcome. Anyone's welcome. You like Uno? Fuck yeah.
Uno's fun.
Uno's a great game. Jeff, I haven't seen him in a while, but I've kind of...
Jeff Muir?
Yeah, I've kind of talked to him on social media every once in a while.
I stopped by to his sharpening shop. I mean, I bought a couple knives from him and stuff like that. I heard some real shit went down with his life not too long ago.
Yeah, I saw him post something about it, which is a bummer. I mean,
you'd been dating somebody for like 6 years, and I think something happened there.
I don't know either. I don't know the details.
Well, neither do I, so I'm not. It's speculation, but
it's a bummer regardless, and and
yeah,
no one deserves that kind of shit. Like,
agreed.
I'm a firm believer on. I don't know. I just think that there's a couple things that are pretty heinous that you can do to someone, and I think that cheating is one of them. Just
agreed. Which, I don't really have much room to talk in one of those situations, even though I wasn't the one cheating.
Yeah.
I was with somebody who was, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone's situation is different, but I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, that's... Go Eagles is the boy! What's up, my guy? Keep looking at the comments. No, me, I meant, hey, be nice. Go Eagles, I watched your YouTube poop. Go Eagles has been watching the stream, and I've been watching his streams for a long time, and
nice.
He likes to go on, he makes YouTube poops. Did you ever watch those in like high school and stuff?
Nope.
They're like, usually like 10 to 5 minutes long, and they're like quick edits to make like a video say different words.
Oh, gotcha.
They're really funny, and he's doing a really good job at them.
Nice. Yeah. That's cool. I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of YouTube.
No? Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I really watch on there is programming tutorials. That's pretty much the only thing I watch on there.
I'm kind of the opposite. I think I pretty much only watch YouTube nowadays. I follow like maybe like a handful of shows, but outside of that, I've been following people since 7th grade, and I still watch their shit. I don't know. I can't get over it.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one person I think I follow right now that I watch consistently would be Donkey. I still watch him.
Donkey's fucking great. I've been watching him too for a long time.
Yeah, I've been watching him for years.
Shout out to Donkey. I mean,
yeah.
Growing up in Utah is the title.
Let's hear some stories. Okay, well, we've been talking about people we went to high school. I
mean, there's a lot of different stories.
There's a lot of stories.
I think one thing that's so vastly different, like here in Utah, is just the two big cultures, right? Because you have LDS, which is vastly like very clean cut, straight edge, like,
until you start walking into some people's closets. But
yeah, of course.
That's what they like to project.
Is that rope? Tie me up, baby.
Why you miss my comment?
I didn't miss your comment. Keep looking at the comments. You cute? No, you cute, boo. But But no, like the image is like very straight edge, very narrow, like minded. No offense. Take offense if you want.
I don't care.
Not you.
No, I know.
But,
I don't care if they take offense. Is what I'm getting at.
It's one mindset. It's a very hive mindset of like we follow these rules because that's how we were raised. And there's nothing against them. Most Mormon people are.
White dude told us that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Most Mormon people are fantastic and they're great to be around, and
I have no problems with them. I live with a few.
Yeah. And then the opposite side of the curve is vastly like super progressive.
Well, it's super progressive, and there's some really interesting like crossover.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of LDS people, especially in high school, would like want to rebel against their parents.
Yeah.
So you have this weird crossover. I mean, there's this. It's kind of an interesting interaction, honestly.
It is. I mean, and it's. I don't know. I think that I'm happy. Guy in gray shirt. I guess my shirt does look kind of gray on there. You know what? He's cute. I think that the big thing is as we develop further into like humanity, I know this is going to be a lot of words, but as we further progress and further like discover new things, I really think that it's opening a lot of people's eyes, especially on the side of religion. And I think here in Utah, there is a really sad thing where people start opening their eyes to potentially their different perspectives, and they're so terrified to change maybe their mindset because maybe they don't believe anymore. But there's such this like drilled in thing that if you ask questions or you change or whatever, you lose all your community.
Yeah, talking to a bunch of people that have left the church, me being one of them, it's this interesting loss of friends and support groups, and you don't realize how ingrained the central ideal of the church is around your life.
Right.
Because I mean it's massive. I mean, you do things with people every week, twice a week usually, and yeah, I could see how there's a lot of swag fuckboys in California. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, we had plenty in high school.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just this weird culture that's ingrained in Utah. However, it is kind of changing.
It is.
Like,
it is.
Salt Lake is actually going in the opposite direction, whereas Utah County is going up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in percentages.
No, Minnie, you stay. Don't worry. It is weird. I think that a lot of it is, too, like a big proponent in this is not only just that we have access to a bunch of information on our phone, but there's podcasts. Like, I'll shout out Last Podcast on the Left. Their 4-part or 5-part or 6-part, whatever it was, episode of Mormonism was phenomenal. And it really shined a lot of light on stuff that I'm sure a lot of Mormons have questions on but are so afraid to ask. So if you ever wanted to watch something, they don't hold back. It's definitely a dig. It's not compliments. It's a dig.
Yeah, I actually have a family member who runs a podcast that was about people's questions about the church.
Oh, wow.
And he actually got excommunicated for it.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, just the mindset towards media that they have is very different.
Well, I think, sadly, that's because if you do enough research, there's a lot of things that may not make a lot of sense to your general population.
Yeah,
sadly.
There's a bunch of papers out there that they would like not to be out there.
Yeah. How much you weigh? I don't know, boo. Quite a bit. Hefty. I wear bigger shirts.
Flash floods. That actually depends.
That's quite a few, though.
So it depends on where you're at in Utah. In southern Utah, it's more of an issue.
No.
Whereas you have a lot of like slot canyons and stuff like that, and you hear about people dying in them. Mm-hmm. It's because when it rains, it can rain 30 miles away and then have like a 30-foot flash flood through these slot canyons, and there's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, what was the one a couple of years ago? It was
there was one this year that died in Horseshoe Canyon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I think that's might be why he's asking, but I don't know.
I remember seeing the one. There was a video of it. It was, I don't remember the town. It was somewhere in southern Utah, and they had a warning of a flash flood coming through their. They had like a mountain runoff channel that went through their little neighborhood or whatever. It was one of the scariest things I've ever seen because you hear it before you see the water show up.
Yeah, and you get to see the water show up.
Yeah,
I remember that video.
There was like a little like man-made bridge. It was probably like, I don't know, 6 feet, just so you could drive over this little channel. Yeah, that flash flood took that whole thing out like easy. It, like the flood hit it, and like 2 seconds later, it just dissolves. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it was 15 people. I know at least 3 died. I don't remember what happened, but
I wouldn't be surprised. Those slot canyons are kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, I've done most of them.
I've done one.
I've done the Narrows. I've done Horseshoe Canyon. They're all interesting. The Narrows is kind of interesting because you go through like 5 foot deep water at one point, so it's like it can be interesting.
I can't remember which one I did. It was short. It was very easy. But it was cool. Like they're very cool to go do. It's just it's a little scary.
It can be
a little scary sometimes.
Yeah. Let's see other things that happen in Utah a lot.
To add to our conversation before we move on, what's the brand of this chair? It's the DI chair.
$5 chair.
$5 chair. I believe this chair was actually free $99.
Free $99.
With the culture in Utah, I think one thing that is changing quite a bit is the taxes on business. Because a lot of people in California are looking at Utah and be like, oh, we could save like, it's like 7 or 8% on taxes if we just move up to Utah.
Well, that and salaries.
Yeah.
Their salaries, a lot of call centers are moving here because of that.
Yeah. So I think that's bringing just not only a mass amount of people, but
also
that
different ideals.
Yeah, that whole mass amount of people is bringing culture to our state, which I don't want to say has a lack of it because Utah does have its own culture, but it's not.
And it's a Utah culture.
Yeah, Utah culture.
Did we feel the earthquake? Definitely. I felt a couple of them.
Yeah, I was working like half a mile from the epicenter.
Yeah, I lived out in West Jordan. It was about 5 miles from my house.
Yeah. What's up, Azia? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize, but hi.
Yeah, so the culture change is kind of interesting. Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Oh, it does look like that.
It does, yeah. It does.
That'd be the shit.
That would be. Yeah, I think a lot of California is coming out here, and then there's also there's a lot of different states that are moving people here. So I think a lot of it's out of state. A lot of the colleges have a lot of influx from around the world too.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
So I mean, there's ideals changing there as well, which is, I mean, good, bad, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is.
It is. I enjoy the direction Utah's going just because. I don't know, 10 years ago, you'd go downtown Salt Lake City and you're like, all right, there's like 6 things we could do. You know? Like at least 6 fun things. And now you go downtown and there's always different shows. There's new restaurants that we've never heard of. Heavy duty. There you go. You know, there's just tons of different things. There's art. Like Utah has a lot of art now. Yeah. And it's cool to see, and it makes me enjoy Utah, where for a long time I felt like I was living in the wrong state.
I still feel that way.
Yeah?
I don't want to live here very much longer.
I've changed my opinion. I used to not, but I kind of really like it.
I can't stand the air quality in the winter. That's my problem.
That is a solid point.
If I lived somewhere in Utah that didn't have that, maybe like Camas or something, but I don't want to live in Camas.
No, that's the fucking
middle of nowhere, but that's okay. Yeah, driving on the bridge, that would be an interesting ride.
Yeah. That is scary, actually. No, I think Utah's going in a direction that's cool, but yeah, you're right about the air quality is bad. Like,
Yeah, I mean, so that's the only two things I don't like about winter here is driving around with the people in the snow
Yeah.
and air quality. There are a lot of states to pick from.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of maybe moving to Phoenix. I don't want to move there right now, but
Yeah.
Phoenix was number one on my list, actually.
It's weird. A lot of people, Phoenix, like Arizona's on a lot of people's lists, and I've only been there once.
I have family down there, so I wouldn't be like exiling myself from all my family, and it's just kind of. I mean, I like Phoenix. It's fun.
And you must like the heat.
I don't.
Oh well, hey.
But it turns out I have air conditioning.
That's a good point. Good point.
So I don't think I really mind that much because you're only.
And most houses have pools.
Well, it's not very nice.
Fuck right. Damn, dude.
That's not very nice.
Straight up. That's rude as shit. I've always wanted to move to New Orleans. I don't know if I could live, but I've always wanted to visit.
I don't want to live there because I don't like humidity. That's part of the reason why Phoenix is fine with me. But some of the music stuff and like the culture stuff in New Orleans is really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Half the other one. Oh my god.
No, when I was down in Houston working, that was my first experience with real humidity.
Oh, it's awful.
It's like right on the bridge. Like you would walk out, like because here in Utah it's dry heat or whatever, but you kind of get a little self-conscious if you start sweating places because you're just like, oh, well, like it's hot out, but like you go out there and like the first like week it was like 80 to 90 with like 60 or 70% humidity, so you'd walk out and you could like breathing, you could feel the air. Like it was really weird. But like I went to the store and like by the time I got in the store, I was like, man, like I'm sweating kind of heavy. Like it's just hot out here. And I started getting a little self-conscious, and then I looked around. Everyone is just like, you got like sweat rings on chest, like under boob sweat, like and like swamp ass everywhere. Everyone's hat was just drenched. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's just a thing.
Just a thing. It's like that meme where it's that little guy sitting at the table and everything's on fire. He's just like, this is fine.
Oh, the little dog.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that meme. It's amazing.
This is fine.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Let's see. What other Utah things are...
I think Utah, one weird thing about it, like, at least from outsiders' perspectives, right, is everyone, like, asks the same question, like, oh, how many wives do you have? But, like, Utah's, like, actually pretty fucking edgy nowadays, if you think about it.
Yeah.
If you go most places, it's not traditional anymore.
No.
Like you said, Utah County still is pretty traditional.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's everyone in downtown who was like, oh, these heathens are taking over. Let's move to Utah County.
Yeah, and everybody wants to live in their suburb.
Yeah.
Just a small bird hatching on the motherfucker's chin.
That's a good one.
Haven't heard that one. That's a new one. Or are you talking about Wesley over there?
It might be. I don't know. My beard's not in a good condition today.
Yeah, mine's a little off to the left at the moment. I need some straightening out.
I bought a beard straightener. Like the little combs.
Yeah.
They're actually... It's kind of a game changer. Like,
so the beard comb I have you've seen Rick and Morty, obviously?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know the Pickle Rick episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister bought me for Christmas a beard comb that's got Rick's face on it. It says I'm Beard Comb Rick.
God damn it. That's good.
It's amazing.
That's really good.
It's amazing. Let's see. Other things that are pretty typical growing up in Utah.
I think one negative thing is sex in Utah is weird.
Sex education here is awful, but I mean, in the United States in general, it's pretty awful. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. And I think that there is a vast, a lot of things that need to change just because, like, especially now that we're getting older and we're starting to realize that how many people are victims to awful, heinous crimes. And, like, we definitely don't have enough education on... I don't know. The whole statement of, like, guys being guys needs to be taken... Like, that is an awful statement. Like, no one... I don't know. I don't know if you guys follow or on Twitter or not and you live in Utah, but there was a whole thing of... that was trending, which was hashtag Utah rapists.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much outing, like, this... Sadly, I don't remember the girl or the person's name who was running the account. But... she opened up her messages for people to send in their stories and their people to try and show, show the public that there's a problem. And it kind of made me sick because there was a couple people on those lists that I know.
Yeah.
You know, not personally, they're not my friends or anything on those lines, but know of them, and it really put things in a lot of perspective, and it really shows that the sex education, first off, is awful in Utah.
It is.
And second off, I really do think that the culture, it makes people so afraid to have sex before they're married that I think that in itself harbors a lot of bad thoughts and harbors a lot of like...
Well, it makes it awkward, and it also makes it so you don't have a good sex life because they make it a taboo at that point.
You're right. It shouldn't be taboo. Like, people need to realize that at the end of the day, sex can be great and fun. It also can be romantic and passionate, but I think that the community in Utah has so much focus on like porn being the devil, but then on the flip side,
it's the second highest use of porn.
Well, yeah. Well, when you tell someone like, "Oh yeah, don't go look at that; it's really bad for you," the first thing you're gonna go do is look at it.
Well, yeah.
And then
what's so bad about it?
Like, I don't know. Utah has a lot of things that needs to change, especially on that aspect.
Yeah, we're not alone on that though. There's other states that need to work on that shit.
We need to stop making excuses for men doing horrible things.
In general.
In
Yeah.
In general.
Not with animals.
Yeah, not with animals.
I would
Good
agree.
point.
I would agree with that. Very nice.
Pat your pubes too.
Gray Top has erect nipples. Okay, well.
Hey man, come over and find out. Something Frank says, just guys being dudes should mean like homies kissing, homies goodnight, not diddling people without consent. Hopefully it'll change. I agree. Like, listen, are you really homies if you don't kiss your friend on the forehead and tell him goodnight? Like, that's the reality. It should not be like the other way around.
That's pretty funny.
Salty Frank, you're the best. I think someone did say fry sauce though.
Ooh, fry sauce is a new one. Is a interesting concoction.
Listen, if I could go to Arctic Circle and get enough fry sauce to bathe in it, I probably would. It's pretty fucking
weird, man.
Dude, it's pretty great.
You know, I do have that sauce that I do that with though, and that's mustard.
Really?
I love mustard.
Mustard's good. Do you like the Chick-fil-A sauce?
It's okay. I mean, I like just straight up mustard.
Oh, just straight up mustard.
Yeah, straight up honey mustard or spicy mustard. Yeah, you should see my fridge. It's got all sorts of fucking mustards in there. Fry sauce is good though. I mean, it's really funny asking for it out of state, and they're like looking at you like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
What's a fry sauce?
Exactly.
Can you give me ketchup and mayonnaise? Fuck, I'll do it myself.
A little vinegar.
I'll do it myself. No, I'm joking aside. Fry sauce. I don't know why fry sauce is so popular here.
Yeah, people look at you like you're mad. Like, what's fries don't have sauce.
I was in Washington when I was younger. Because I think fry sauce is everywhere now. I think it just kind of is expanded.
A little bit.
I asked for fry sauce, and the guy just was panicked and handed me ketchup. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, close enough.
Guess that works. Want to bathe in pickle juice? Go Eagles. You do you, boo.
I like every mustard except normal mustard. Well, that's because normal mustard is not sure what you mean by normal mustard, but that's okay.
Later, please, Wazer? Is that what it says? Wazer? Have fun.
You do that, man. Go for it.
Does fry sauce come from Fry Lock? It does, because he's on top rocking, you know? You ever watch that show?
No.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
I haven't.
It's a weird one. Hey, I'll give you a picture just to give you context of, like, what Frylock is, because you're going to be like, what the hell?
Aqua Teen.
Oh, that's not the right button.
Hunger Force? Oh, boy.
It was an Adult Swim show.
Oh yeah, I've seen ads for it.
That's Frylock, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I used to watch that show a lot when I was younger. I have not gone back and watched it as an adult, so I don't know what the fuck it could. It might be even more funny. I don't know.
Oh, I never heard of it until today. So
that reminds me, because you you grew up, you guys didn't watch TV, right? Was it
Kind of. So
kind
we
of?
actually took like a year off of watching TV when I was
okay.
younger. It was, I mean, it wasn't anything new. I mean, we didn't really we didn't watch any TV, like no movies, no nothing for, I think it was over a year, and I didn't really miss it.
Yeah, I don't know. Over the past couple of years, I've really limited my TV consumption just because, like, I don't know, when you start prioritizing time in your life, you start realizing how much of it you waste with, like, really dumb shit. And I was realizing, like, on a week basis, I would waste, like, 6 or 7 hours just watching, like, TV.
Yeah, I'll put it on in like the background, but it's only like I've watched the same shows over and over and over again, like Futurama, MASH. Some oldies but some goodies, but
I've watched Always Sunny like twice now.
I have a hard time getting into that one.
Yeah,
I've just never liked it. But yeah, so I'll just put them on in the background. I don't like sit down and watch TV as a TV.
Oh no, someone farted. I tasted it.
Who queefed? Oh, God.
I think that, I don't know, because I think that movies are great, right? Like, I think the act of, like, going to a theater and, like, having that whole experience, like, it's good for people. It's fun. It's social. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing, but then again, I don't think sitting around and, like, spending 40 hours a week watching movies is necessarily the smartest thing. But that goes back to, like, you know what? If it makes you happy,
do you, man.
You go for it. I just haven't. I don't know. Even with video games lately, like, I see myself playing maybe 5 hours a week.
I've played a little bit more than that recently, but I mean, not. I was doing more like D&D kind of stuff. So have you played Divinity 2 at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's like D&D in a video game. It's pretty fun. So a couple friends of mine, we were just kind of doing like a D&D group online, pretty much through that, and it's pretty fun.
I've been actually trying to get a D&D group started for a while now. I want to do a D&D show.
I'm down. Let me know.
I don't know. That's my only problem is this. I have people who are interested. Now that you're on that list too.
Okay.
I think it would make a hilarious show.
Yeah.
My only problem is I don't know where to do it because here wouldn't work. There's not enough room. You know, we would need, if we wanted to try and fit 5 people in here and a sufficient enough table, it'd be kind of shitty. Unless we move stuff.
I think we can make it work.
Might be able to. The other thing is, so you would have to have multiple cameras, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you'd have to have a camera that shows the table good enough so you could see rolls and stuff, show us, and then still have a mic set up that the audio would work. Yeah. It just seems like something that would take time to set up, but I think it'd be really funny.
It would be.
I would even be the DM if that's what it came down to, because I think I could create a narrative that would be fun enough for players and, like, interesting enough, but also be silly enough to, like, you know.
Are you down to let people in remotely?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
That'd be the bard.
All right, guys, we have to go to the tavern. This is the tavern maid, Salty. If you roll high enough, she'll give you beer. Can I be the bard? No fucking bards. I am so tired of bards in 2020. It's how, like, yeah, this monster's super powerful. Roll to soothe it with my music. 26. What the fuck? Yeah, fine.
Hey, my favorite character I've ever heard of someone using was an ogre thief. He had no skill in subterfuge whatsoever. He was absurdly good at persuasion. So what would happen is he would walk into the room and they're like, well, they saw you. And he's like, roll persuasion. You didn't see me. And just walk in, steal shit, walk out, even though they could see him. You just persuade them that they didn't see him.
God damn it.
I was like, that's the kind of character I would like to play. Is something to that effect. It's like somebody who is not good at what you tell me.
Right.
Like what's normal. But
fine, I will not sing to you while I die. Yeah, we engage 40 people. Bard, start song. I don't know, it's fun. Speaking of YouTube stuff, the reason why I've always wanted to get in D&D, even at a young age, because just been involved in nerd culture forever.
Same.
But I've always been into the people who made Red vs. Blue, which is Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
And they have like Achievement Hunter and Funhouse and all that kind of under that web.
Check Snap real quick.
Okay, one sec. But they all did their own shows that were Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And they had one that was like Heroes and Halfwits. I can't remember what the Funhouse one was. And then there was a group, they did an 80s themed space
D&D.
Space D&D.
That sounds
And
amazing.
it was so fucking silly and so good.
Twits
and Crits. Yes, that one was great. All right, so Salty's calling in. Well, not calling in, but he sent me a video, so I imagine he wants it to be played.
Welcome, travelers for gold. I have a story for you to perform in Limerick.
Was that your goddamn Guitar Hero? That persuasion's plus 30 for sure. Getting whatever you want. No, but I think Dungeons and Dragons would be fun because, like,
I'd be so down.
you could implement like a chat thing where, like, if like there's enough comments or something, like you have to do something because of it. I don't know. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Kind of like Twitch plays Pokemon.
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
That'd
exactly.
be pretty fun, actually. We'd have to sit down and like figure out how everything worked before we started, because otherwise it's kind of like this. Who knows what's going on?
Right. No, it would definitely be. I don't know. Maybe I'll.
I'm gonna lurk.
All right, go Eagles.
You do that.
Maybe I'll start looking into that more seriously. I just don't know, how do you start learning Dungeons and Dragons? Because I know they have guides, right?
Yeah, they have books.
And they update it every like quarter, half
I
year.
have a couple friends that are like really good at it. I can ask them.
Maybe I'll start getting into that.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
And it could be a rotating cast, which might even make it more funny. Like,
Well, I mean, you can pretty much have anyone do pieces of the campaign as long as it's not like you have set roles in the campaign.
right.
Could be an insane man that hears and repeats voices from the void, just being random chat members. That would be amazing.
That would be
I
good.
like that.
That would actually be really good.
Like he has like schizophrenia and those are the voices he hears in the chat. That'd be actually pretty fun.
Yeah, maybe as the DM, I'll play that character as well. And like, oh no, he just said earthquake. Everyone roll for initiative. Fuck.
That sounds amazing. And maybe we could set up like a vote counter, so you know, like a vote thing of like how people. I like it.
That would, yeah, you could definitely do that because it would just be, you could literally just have straw polls you implement and have it like roll as you're going. That would be smart.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
My favorite spell is,
For messing with people, press station. Harmon quest is a quest that play either help or hurt the party depending on what the quest wants to do. Oh, okay. That's kind of
Harmon
fun.
quest has guests and they play NPC that either help or hurt the party depending. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I've heard. Yeah, Harmon's is Dan Harmon. He's great. I can't remember what he's super famous for. Was it D&D? No, is he a Rick and Morty guy? Jesus.
I think I don't know. I've never heard the guy, so
I think he's.
create audio visual.
I've been following him for a while. I just drawing it. He's a writer.
Adult Swim, yeah, Rick and Morty. He's a co-founder of Rick and Morty. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
He does a D&D club.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's really good.
Oh, and Community. Okay, so yeah, he's part of that. Produce. Okay, yeah, Harmon Quest right there.
Yeah. Rick and Morty.
Community, good game.
He's got a pretty fucking solid ass resume.
Simpsons, yeah, I mean.
The Simpsons did it first.
Simpsons did everything first.
Yeah. And they predict the future. But
yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
no, whatever. So should we really... I don't know if I even want to talk about it. I put it in the comments that we would talk about it, but I don't know if I have much of an important opinion on the Bountiful Braves thing.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
So pretty much from my understanding how, like, what happened is someone wrote a letter to the mayor of Davis County saying, like, maybe they should look at changing the Braves name or logos because it's, you know, it's a little bit, it's on that fence, right? Like, we probably shouldn't have kids dressing up in war paint and shit in 2020. Like, I'm sure there's other things that could be done that would still be fun. Pretty much his response was quite shitty. She pretty much told the lady to get fucked.
You know, that doesn't really surprise me.
No. Let me pull it up. Maybe it was the...
Braves. Gets sheep reply.
Oh, yeah. So the former Bountiful Brave from Mayor... Yeah, here, I'll just read you guys the article. No sound. Former Bountiful Brave gets sheep reply from Mayor over school mascot. So it was the Bountiful Mayor. It says a Bountiful High School alumni wants to start a conversation about the school's mascot being changed from Braves. Mallory Rogers and her friend Michaela have been emailing local Davis School District board members, Bountiful High School administrations, and Bountiful City leaders. I'm an alumnus. Is that alumnus? Of Bountiful High School, and the mascot there is the Braves. So I saw that, and it made me take a step back and take stock. Said Rogers, and she reflected on her traditions as a student at Bountiful High School, where she says students wore face paint and headdresses at most athletic events. Ultimately, it's not my place to speak on behalf of Native people, and I'm not trying to. I'm coming from a place where I'm a Bountiful High alumnus who is becoming uncomfortable with the racial implications and ramifications of having Native American imagery as a mascot. Yeah, probably don't have it as a mascot. Aside from a handful of emails and newly started change.org petition, the pair have been trying to get the conversation starting with the right people to make the decision. I got a response from the superintendent, I got a response from the president of the school board, and I got a response from the assistant principal from Bountiful High School. And all their responses are exactly what you'd expect, said Rogers. But a response from Bountiful City Mayor Randy Lewis was unique compared to the others. This is the mayor. This is the mayor speaking. Are you an Indigenous person? Are you their official spokesman? If you're not an official representative critic of the Braves, do you have evidence that the Indigenous people are offended by Bountiful High? Rogers said. Reading the email reply out loud, this sounds a lot like sheep mentality that followed
BLM movement.
Jesus Christ. Wow. And that's the Bountiful Mayor saying those things, for the record.
And scroll down a little more. It sounds like, let's see, BLM movement. Now, scroll up a little bit. There's a reply on the phone. I attended the BLM. Scroll down a little bit. Attended the BLM gathering in Bountiful. I believe we all need to be less easily offended about many things.
Ryan Lewis, Mayor of Bountiful. Or Randy Lewis.
I was like, hey.
Sorry. Rogers says she was taken back by the reply and didn't respond right away. Days later, she's still processing the response.
Wow.
That's pretty
interesting.
And that's from Fox 13, Salt Lake City, that article. So if you'd like to look it up, I'll link it in the description later on, and I'll link it in chat right now if you want to go over and take a little bit of a browse on it. So, yeah, I mean, listen, it's 2020, probably just start changing names. Like, does it have to be something that is associated with Indigenous people? No, it doesn't. So, like, why not just
move
on?
I don't know. I mean, it could be taken the other way, I guess, would be, so we went to South Davis Spartans.
Right.
I mean, nobody seems to have an issue with that.
That's a good point.
So there is a little bit of a gray area, I would think. But
no, I agree with you. I think there is a gray area, and if people are offended, then change it. But we might as well be proactive. than
Yeah.
be active.
No, I agree with
and
that.
if some people are wanting to start the conversation, I don't see why Randy Lewis has such a problem with that.
I'm not sure the mayor really has any control over that.
No.
I'm a little confused why he and Wade. I mean, I can understand why they wrote him. I don't think a mayor of a city has any control over what the school district does if it's run by the county, do they? Probably not. I don't know.
I imagine though the more voices it'd be easier to change.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just sit at the point where in 2020 we're seeing a lot of different things happen, and I don't see why we couldn't.
Yeah, I agree.
know?
I mean, I think the Braves is a better connotation than the Redskins.
Yeah, and
But-
as you can see, the Redskins right now are changing. I believe they're going to change it.
Yeah, I mean, all more power to them. I really don't. I personally don't have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't affect me, so I don't really have a say either way.
I definitely float more on the side of like I don't see why we shouldn't change it, but at the same time, like it's not my decision, and as much as people can be a voice for change, it really comes down to enough people signing up for it. And the realistic thing is like why we need to reach out to people who it might be offensive to and see how they feel about it.
Yeah,
Because if it's just white people in Bountiful trying to do something, that really isn't the right crowd to be
saying something
Yeah,
about that.
but if people are actually like, well, yeah, it's kind of fucked up that that's a name of a school and it's a mascot, like we're not mascots, we're humans, then yeah, maybe change it.
Yeah, and to point out maybe go on the other side and point out the fact that maybe a lot of people wouldn't want to change because that's what their high school mascot was when they went to high school.
Yeah.
I don't think that really has much say to it because
No.
you still can have pride in that school. It doesn't matter what the mascot is.
For sure.
And
I'm less prideful that that's the mayor's comment than anything.
oh yeah.
That's way more.
Yeah, I was rather surprised by that response. I'll be honest.
That seems a lot more. There seems like there's a deeper issue going on there than just her email.
I'm perfectly down with that. I do not
Dogs
want
are the
to.
best.
I do not want to have Chihuahuas as my mascot, but I mean that's just a
The
personal
Bountiful
problem.
Chihuahuas. They're aggressive. Don't get your ankles.
Hey, let's check out and make sure we're offending people. You offended a little. Yeah, I thought that was really just not a great way of responding to it. And what you said earlier about the escalation class, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what he did. He's just like, yeah, I took this and blew it out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah, Salty's comment, which summarizes the whole article if you don't want to go read it. This person basically asked, hey, let's check to make sure we aren't offending people to get ahead of this just in case, to the response of, are you offended, you little snowflake? That's pretty much,
The response
that was pretty much the mayor's response.
Which I do not support that response.
No,
at all.
absolutely.
That makes no sense why you would.
No. I mean, even
respond
as a
that
mayor,
way.
don't you think you'd want to conduct yourself a little bit more, regardless of what opinions you
Civil?
have, more civil and more neutral until you have all the information instead of just like completely putting where you stand on things? Like,
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we have a very good, example of how not to handle situations in our country.
yeah.
So I think that might be.
Yeah.
People are thinking maybe it's more okay if you do that. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be.
I don't
We're
know.
living in an interesting time, people, and you should really start taking note because I think that in 2040 they're going to look back at 2020 and we're really going to have to dictate if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
Because we'll be in history forever because of COVID.
Yeah.
Like, forever. Now, the rest of the stuff that's going on, we just need to work on that to figure out if they're going to look back and be like, they really pushed through COVID and killed it. Or they're like, and they fucked up a lot. And COVID. They didn't do anything right. And they fucking died from COVID. Goddamn.
Yeah, who knows?
Should we talk about COVID a little bit? I know it's kind of... Everyone talks about
if you
it.
want to,
But
I don't really care.
yeah, I don't know. I think...
We can talk about something else if we need. Doesn't matter.
I think COVID is a blown up issue now where it's churned from, which this is the only thing that really bothers me, right? Is it's churned from a virus that's killing people, right?
To a political statement.
To a political statement. And that right there really shows how piss poor things are in the country at this point. Like, you need to just really look at your facts, like, and sit down with yourself and be like, oh yeah, this virus is taking away loved ones.
Yeah.
It's not about a political statement. It's not about numbers. It's not about any of this. It's about there is something going on that is killing people.
Yeah.
And that is all that should matter. And take your shitty opinions elsewhere and just fucking, I don't know. Just be cool.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I think it's giving people an excuse to cause problems when there's, in reality, like, we could just not cause problems and try and beat it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could look at some of the other countries and their responses to it, and it's just like, why couldn't we do that?
Yeah. I mean, we're the only country that might make COVID a permanent situation because we're not handling it correctly. So that's cool.
That's a very true point.
Biebert says everything is a political statement during an election year. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Having to have the discussion with some of my family that it's not a government plot to control and profit.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
definitely not.
I mean, I think people need to realize we're in a capitalist society, so there's going to be profit regardless of what's going on. You know, and is there people who are going to profit off of COVID? For sure, but that's not the reason why it's happening.
Yeah. Can't tell you how I know. Hospitals say they have a positive test to make quotas for federal funding. Interesting. I didn't know that.
I've heard a little bit about that, especially on the early days of COVID being public, that they were fudging numbers to get more funding.
Elected two-party system needs to change. Yeah, I'd agree with that. False positives are a huge problem. I mean, limiting the terms people are in office, I think we should put one on Congress and Senate.
Oh, and big time.
And maybe even the Supreme Court, to be honest with you.
100%. I don't pretend to be into politics. I'm not. Everyone who talks to me about politics, I can't tell you jack shit about it. I don't sit on any team because I don't play the team game. I don't do any of that type of stuff. But one thing I'll tell you is if we ever really want change in America and we think that we need change, there needs to be limited time for these people to sit in these positions because it's supposed to be public serving. It's not supposed to be a fucking career.
Agreed.
You know? Yeah. Like, go serve your time and write a book if you're just in it for the money. You'll make millions. Yeah. Go do talks and shit. That's totally cool. If all you want to do is make money, but don't sit on there and make it a career because you're really fucking up with your old boomer mindset. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing to look at the statistics of what profession people have in politics as well.
Yeah.
Almost all of them are lawyers.
Yeah. Shocking.
Yeah.
Weird. Weird.
So.
But we won't get into politics because, like, that's boring.
That's boring.
People get
a little heated on that as well.
Yeah, and I've tried to keep this show as politically
neutral.
Well, I mean, I share my opinions, which people have tried to say that I sit a certain way, when in reality it's just my opinion. Like, I don't know. I don't publicly vote specifically for one side or not. I vote for who I think is going to be the best, so I'm glad our lawmakers in America have been in power and are old enough to not know the very basics about today's society that's been heavily impacted by information. Yeah, true.
Yeah, let's see, we can go back to growing up in Utah. Let's see, what other topics we got there?
Was it how difficult? So you grew up LDS.
Yeah.
Around like I didn't. I was on the opposite side of it. I never. The only time I went to church prior to being 18 for farewells was once for like an event. Yeah. It was like a Halloween thing, and we just went and hung out with other people, and I didn't really know what was going on. The one thing that's really strange about it, at least from my perspective, I want to hear your side of perspective, is I didn't ever really feel like there was definitely times where I felt on the outs, right? Like
You weren't included?
Yeah, that I wasn't included. And that may have just been me trying to overthink things as a kid. Like, oh, I'm not getting invited because I'm not LDS, or I might not get invited because I swear, or play mature games, or watch rated R movies at a young age.
Well, so I mean, even as a kid, that if that is your opinion of it, then I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But even being inside it, it was interesting because I mean, you felt included. At least, okay, so I felt included for the most part. There were a lot of things in my life that also made me feel unincluded because I was the son of the only child in my family that left the church or got kicked out of the church or whatever, and it was so I was always the son of the black sheep.
Mm. So
I always felt unincluded anyway. But in the church itself, it was really weird, I'll be honest. Like, there were always this group of people that I hung out with that were there, and we did a lot of things together, but then there were a couple people in that church group that were just complete assholes to everyone, regardless. And I'm actually friends with both of them now, but, I mean, they were tormented. Like, they tormented me for years.
Really?
Yeah, and
just young age, like bullying, or specifically.
Yeah. Well, specifically me, specifically a couple other people, because we were a little different. I mean, I wasn't normal, still not. Don't really give a fuck.
Normal people scare me. So.
Yeah, that's fair. So, and I did some interesting things in elementary, like I set off a dry ice bomb in class, and
hell yeah.
Did you remember that story?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I did that. There were a couple things that they just tormented me endlessly for. They actually helped me out with being called names. I don't care what people call me now because of them. So in a weird, fucked up way, they helped me with something, but
I mean, I guess that's really an important lesson, though, is turning negatives into a positive some way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so there was that. It was really interesting leaving the church because easy guys didn't
Absolutely.
Of course. But leaving the church was interesting because I became projects. I became a project instead of a person. I got people who were like, I'm going to be the one that gets him back in the church. And that was the way that they thought that they needed to be holy. So it was like I had people show up on my doorstep and say, hey, we're going to church today. And I was like, I don't want to go to church today. Well, let's go to church. And I was like, okay. So I went to church a couple times, and then I got told to fuck off one of the times when I told them I didn't want to go to church on my doorstep.
Wait, they told you?
They told me to fuck off on my own doorstep. I was like, oh, okay, so that's how this is.
Wow.
So it was interesting. I left when I was 15, so I mean it was just it was an interesting experience. It changed a lot of things in my life, partially because I just don't want anything to do with religion anymore.
Yeah.
Any organized religion. I've done research in multiple. I've done Buddhist. I've read part of the Quran. I mean, I've done a lot of different things that way, and I think organized religion, this is just my opinion, of course, is a waste of time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the same side as you. Growing up non-LDS in Utah, you're right about that one, bud. Haven't missed one in a week. It allowed for me to formulate my own opinion instead of being told an opinion.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a big thing. A lot of people preach freedom of religion, but it's really not, because if you get told at a young age a certain thing is a certain thing, that's just who you are. And that's not a dig at anyone. That's just how humans work. If you teach a baby their first joke, or the first word is fuck, the baby's going to say fuck, right? But it allowed me for me to do my own research, and not sadly, it's not sad at all, but I really realized how much of a joke the organized religion is.
Yeah. And as Katie says, Satan gets warm hugs.
He does.
He does. I
the
agree.
warmest of hugs.
Yeah.
No, I know it was a joke. I was just replying to your joke. I'm all about healthy roasts. I know I'm fat. Don't worry about it. I was thinking about, I was looking at the time, like, man, what the fuck time is KFC closed tonight? I might hit it on the way home. Anyways, it allowed for me to do my own research.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, specifically there's some religions that, to put it in layman's terms, it's pay to win.
Oh, it is.
And I always wondered at a young age, I'm like, well, why do I have to pay to have a connection with God? Because isn't he supposed to just be there anyways? And if I do all these proper things, shouldn't I be put in the situation of having my celestial kingdom that I want, or going to heaven, or whatever version of it that you want? Shouldn't I be able to obtain that without the financial part? Like, why do they need my money?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. I think you can be spiritual without the religion.
Absolutely.
Honestly. Like, I mean, I don't really care. I mean, people can have whatever beliefs they want. Doesn't matter to me. But growing up in a almost cult, in my opinion, is kind of odd, honestly.
yeah, and I don't know. I always feel bad because I talk a lot about the Mormon religion, and I'm trying to do better about talking about the positive sides of it. When I do talk about the negative sides of it, and I do think that there are healthy aspects to having a religion in your life and following a religious life, just because, like, it gives you a purpose, right? Where if you can't formulate your own purpose, life is really stressful sometimes.
Yeah.
It gives you a goal in mind, and it gives, like, the fundamentals of, like, most religion and how they teach you to be a person isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's really not bad. You know, be a good neighbor. Don't be a shitty person. Like, that's really not bad.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of positives to it, but, you know, there's some parts of it that are just tough to believe. So,
yeah, I actually talked to Zach Ward a little bit about church as well, and I mean that.
Wow, that's a fucking strong statement. If you find one thing wrong with your religion, why follow it? The next week I stopped going to church.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck you right, dude.
Sorry, stopped to read that comment for
He
a minute.
said, please, Weezer on Mixer said, fuck God, look what he's done for you. No pussy talking shit on Mixer. Damn, you right. And when you write, you right. Oh, salty. That's why my new religion is Raid Shadow Legends, the innovative new game on mobile devices with console-level graphics. Over 300 playable characters, PvP, PvE, and raid experience.
It's also a pay-to-win religion.
Yeah.
So I will get on right now. Where do I sign up?
Yeah, like, and with your thing too, like, I went and studied, like, Buddhism a little bit, and I haven't read any of the Quran, thank you.
Yeah.
But I've, like, looked up Cliff Notes, and you know, there's a lot of same stories and a lot of same ideas across the board.
I think there's a song I think you would really like, and it's by Hobson. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Hobson. One second, let me look it up.
Nocturnal Rainbows.
No, but that's a good one too. Sorry.
I haven't listened to anything Hobson past, like, 2008, so if it's an old one, I might know.
Might be.
You smoke, boys? I've been known to dabble in the smoke, but not much recently.
In the smoke.
In the smoke.
The way you said that.
Dabble
in the smoke. Oh, God, that's terrible. And funny at the same time.
Smoke bum cigars? I don't know what bum cigars are.
I think he's smoking shit.
Smoking the flesh pipe? I'll avoid that one, bud.
Oh, God, where in the hell is this song?
No, but going back to, like, the growing up
Oh, there it
things.
is. Mind of Hobson 7.
Oh, yeah. All the ill mind or whatever.
Ill Mind of Hobson 7, yeah.
Those have some
Yeah, I really enjoyed that song.
hardcore. Hey, go listen to some of our other episodes. I talk a little bit about drug usage and things along those nature. But I think just roll up, sit back, and chill. That's all you got to do. I think that one of the turning points where I started questioning things was I had, when I was in like second or third grade, I can't really remember specific. No, maybe like fourth or fifth. I had set up a sleepover with two of my best friends at the time. And
Guess Tyler
No.
and...
I don't think you'll know either of them, to be honest.
Okay, go for it.
They, the plan was they were going to come over to my house and stay the night.
Ooh.
Which, you've been to my house, you know there's no problems in my household.
I don't know about... I'm just kidding.
There's cats. Lots of cats.
Oh no!
So, and
There's rated R movies in that. You just give off a negative vibe, even if you don't watch them.
Halo's mature. They're not 17.
Yeah, sorry. Continue.
So I set up all this plan like during the school week, and like I was super excited, like more excited for anything in my life, because you know how that is when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were supposed to be there like 5 o'clock, and they didn't show up. So I tried calling them, and no one picked up. And then like 6 o'clock rolled around, and no one showed up, and no one picked up. And then 7 o'clock showed up, and no one picked up. And like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And at this point, I was like bawling, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like devastated because my friends weren't coming over to my sleepover that I planned with just them. And like I had all this stuff ready. So my mom, like, to try and make me feel better, we went out. We were going to go somewhere to go get a drink, or I can't remember, like go get food, whatever it was. And we drove past one of their houses because they both lived by me, and they were outside playing. And I just like broke down, like as a kid, right? You know how it is as a kid.
Uh-huh.
And then like later in life, I realized that they weren't allowed to come by one of their parents because I wasn't Mormon.
Okay.
And that is what triggered a lot of my like started studying, because I didn't know what that statement really meant.
Yeah.
I was like, well, why am I not part of the team? Like, why am I any different? I don't really treat anyone different. But a bum cigar is a poop. Oh, God. And your friend, if you pull up.
Why not?
That's awful. It's true, though.
And then starting a little lawnmower.
Sometimes they get tangled up in there, too, and you get like two out at once, and you're like, oh, how did that happen? Anyways. So, no, I think that was in 5th grade. And that's when I started, like, asking questions, like, well, why am I not going to church? And, like, I had some conversations with my parents, and, like, so my dad was, I don't even remember, Catholic, I think. Like, he was baptized Catholic. My mom was baptized LDS. Neither of them had participated in anything in a long time, and I started asking questions, and that I really think if my parents did anything 100% right, it was allowing me to decide what I wanted to do religion, because I was never really told, like, no, you can't go to church. It was like, if that's what you want to do,
go for it.
Go for it. Like, we're not going to shun you. We're not going to remove you. We're not going to judge you. Like, you figure it out on your own.
Yeah, and on the other end of that spectrum, I have a friend of mine who, when he moved in with his girlfriend last year, he about got disowned. So it's like there's this other end of the spectrum there. It's just like people in the LDS church don't know how to treat their children when they make those decisions.
And I sometimes wonder if I don't know. There's no way throughout someone's whole entire life they never question their religion. There's no way you don't mentally have that conversation with yourself, like, man, is this all bullshit? But I just can't fathom the idea, unless it's fear, of someone who is so happy with their child, but they make one decision that goes against the grain, that they're at the point where they will disown them.
Yeah. Like,
the only way that could happen is fear, right? And that could be fear of, like, maybe they 100% truly believe in their religion, and now he's not going to be able to get there. So this small speck of time in our vast reality of, like, living forever in our kingdom, that he's not going to be there because he's making this one dumb decision. If that's how you truly believe, I could see how they're like, well, let's try and fear him or guilt him into doing the right thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
But at the same time, like,
live and let live.
Well, and God, isn't God the only person who can judge?
Accurate.
So at the end of the day, like...
Well, and I have a hard time believing that... I mean, I don't particularly believe in a God. There's
Right.
something, I'm sure, but I have a hard time believing that the way they preach their God is saying he loves everyone, that he's going to say, hey, no, you didn't follow this one rule, so fuck you.
Yeah.
I think he's going to say, hey, welcome back. I mean, cool.
What did you learn?
Yeah, what'd you learn? What shit went wrong for you? Like,
Right.
let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Like that,
You would think it would be a conversation instead of like
an interrogation.
I'll smite you, you piece of shit. You didn't do what I told you.
Like an armadillo with an armadillo.
Yeah.
Obviously. If you count a threesome as in having 3 burgers, then yes.
Yeah. Yesterday. No, I'm kidding. No, I
wasn't joking. I was kidding.
In and out's down the road. No, I agree with you because I still don't know what I really believe in. It's not a god. I don't think there's a single being that's created all this.
I'm a firm believer of the spaghetti monster in the
Yeah,
sky.
dude, he's flying around.
His name is Emrakul.
Yeah, he's the fucking man. He gets it. But I really don't believe in a god. But you know, there used to be someone who came in to watch this show a lot. His name was Not Delivery, and he talked about an interesting idea, and it's pretty far-fetched, but at the same time, like, I kind of get where he was going with it. And his whole thing is like what we are right now, and this is. I'm trying to use it with how I remember, so I'm not using the correct terms as he put it. But basically, like, we're a neuron, and we're coming down to Earth, and we're having our experience, and when we die, we're going back to the big brain and giving the information to try and create a better consciousness for when the next person comes back.
Yeah.
And I thought that idea was interesting. Now, I don't necessarily believe it either, but I do think that if there is something after we die, it's got to be more. I don't think that it's this all heaven, hell type of nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time believing that hell exists in the way that they say it does.
Yeah.
Or why would there be multiple different planes of existence? I mean, yes, there could be multiple planes of existence, but why would there be a filter for them?
Right. Well, and I think, too, that all the things that are associated with going to hell are the things that, if you partake in, will make you question your religion more. Mm-hmm. So it seems oddly convenient.
Yeah.
You know, when you start fucking before marriage and you start drinking or doing all these things and your mind's, like, starting to ask questions, of course, like, they're going to say that's not good.
Yeah.
What about squirrel? More nuts? I believe we are the aliens. What do you mean? I'm curious what you think. Salty says, one thing that religion does that puts fear and conflict in your mind and soul is that at least in Christian-based ones, you have to love God above all else, including family.
Okay.
That's a good point, that God comes first, your family comes second. So whatever is better for God, you do, regardless if it's good for your family.
I don't agree with that.
Marcus has a great quote about religion. I don't know how to say that, like Marcus.
Aurelius.
That's a great quote about religion. It goes along the lines of, be a good person. If you're in it, if there is a God, and he is just, he will love all the good you did. If there is a God and he is an ass, why follow him? If not, then your memory of all the good you did will be passed on through your loved ones. He said it way better. No, I agree with you.
I gotcha. Yeah.
What's up, Eggshin? I think that, I don't know, it's never made sense to me that there's going to be a higher being judging me.
Yeah.
That idea, I never could wrap my mind around that, because I'm like, well, if he, like, why? Why does he care? Honestly, like, why does he give a shit?
Yeah.
You know, like, I guess, like, I think from most holy books that it is a way for people to conduct their lifestyle in a productive manner.
Agreed.
And that when they were created, all of that, people just didn't know what life was. We didn't even know how long we were going to fucking live for on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So, like, giving someone a guideline, of course it worked. But now in 2020, like, I just don't think it really makes much sense to follow it. But to each their own.
Yeah, it's... I mean, there is the question of morality and stuff like that. Can you have morals outside of religion? And that goes into that same thing. And I think a lot of people believe that you can't have morals without religion.
I think morals are subjective, though, because
I agree. I 100% agree.
And that's the thing that I think that's the thing that scares people who are afraid to question is morals are 100% subjective, because what I might find morally okay, someone else is going to be like, oh, disgusting.
Well, morals are a learned trait through culture.
Right. And I mean, I think there's like a few obvious ones that are not okay. Don't murder people. That's probably number one. That's not morally okay on any platform. Right? Don't assault someone on any aspect.
Yeah.
That's pretty morally across the board.
Yeah.
And there's some other stuff that just don't do. Like, I don't care what the situation is, probably not a good idea. Outside of that, everything's opinion.
Yeah.
Honestly, everything is opinion.
Well, I mean, everything's a product of your environment, so...
Yeah.
I mean, there are... Well, a product of your environment and, instincts, I guess.
Mm-hmm. We were all aliens. There's no truth on how we got here.
Oh, that's fair.
We were all souls. Dark souls?
Dark Souls is great.
Dark Souls is good. Now, I believe in aliens, and I think that... I don't know. I don't know. Aliens are an interesting one. Oh, fuck. Don't read that one for sure. Don't read that one.
Okay.
Next TSP, everyone needs to show up in full Catholic priest garb with the slicked back hair and speak if they're saying, listen, my child.
I'm sold.
I'm down.
Can we please also have boards that we hit ourselves in the head with as we were saying things?
Welcome. This is Topshelfers podcast. Listen, my child.
Listen, my child. No. Listen, my child.
Adam ate the fruit because he was a slut. Dude, it's so sweet. I don't know.
Just a rib.
just one. You got more? Just plenty. You'll be fine.
Oh, God.
Nah, I don't know. Religion talk is one that could go on for hours, and
accurate.
I need to do better at getting people on with heavily opposing opinions, because I've yet to. I'm sure I've had people on who have opposing opinions.
Just haven't gotten to the subject.
Yeah, just haven't gotten to the subject. I need people on who have vastly different opinions, so that way it just doesn't feel like I'm trying to bash certain people. Because I'm not. I love everyone for who they are, really, as long as you're not a fucked up person.
Rent a hotline to put on screen like mega churches do for telephones.
Yes!
I am down. I will get a Google phone number for that.
I'm going to hire 14 Karens to sit in the back and just be on every phone.
Have 2 phones.
Jim Bob just donated $2,000! Little buzzers go on.
Tell me how God is real.
I can't, because he's not.
Accurate.
You tell me. I'm still waiting. I've asked that question a couple times. You wake up tomorrow. Jesus is here. What do we do? And he's telling me everything that is written down is true. I'd be like, well, my liege, I apologize. Shall I go take back the Holy Land?
I got some reading to do.
Yeah. Where's the nearest person I can repent to? I've masturbated twice today. That is, we need to start there, and it's a laundry list, my guy. We'll be there for a while.
Oh, there's a quote from MASH that I love, and it's an episode where they're, the CEO of the camp makes alcohol. He makes the camp dry so they can't drink. So they go to the priest to say, hey, do you have sacramental wine? And he's like, yeah, but it's only used in ceremonies. And they're like, well, do you want to get ordained for wine? And he's like, no, my confession alone will take a week. So,
greetings, caller. Your communication has been
foretold. Or it's kind of like those signs out on the freeway. It's like, call this number for the truth.
Yeah,
those make me laugh.
I'm gonna start calling them. Tell me, my child. What
I
is
am
the
Jesus.
truth? Right, I am calling.
I am calling for the truth that you've been telling other people.
Yeah. What is the truth? Hello. Good evening.
Start being Dracula.
Right.
Good evening.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good news, everyone.
Good news.
Heavy breathing hotline. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah. That would sell so well.
Let me throw what happened to George Floyd kneeling on the neck.
No.
Don't have an opinion. I'll be honest.
I don't want to touch. Yeah.
That's,
If you guys want to hear our discussion on that, you can go back on the videos or go over to my other pages. Me and Jordan Fredrickson, if you remember him.
I do.
We talked about everything.
How's he doing?
Good. Recently, better. He's doing pretty good.
I haven't seen him forever.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Okay, so let's talk about more stories about Utah.
Utah.
So, what? We just got our first medical marijuana store.
Oh, we did. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's downtown.
Oh, how about that?
And from my understanding, I've yet to go do this, nor I don't know if I will or not, but there are Dr. Green Thumb similar type of situations. If you aren't familiar, when it became legal or medical was allowed in California, some doctors started popping up, and basically you go in and you're like, hey, I have chronic back pain. And they're like, you know what would solve that? This medical marijuana card. Thanks, bud. And then you walk out and then you can go buy your medical marijuana. From my understanding, there are similar things going on with the one here in Utah, where you can go to some sort of pain doctor of sorts, and he'll prescribe you with some of the stickiest of the ickiest. Which I think is kind of interesting because Utah was so different.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think Utah's got it a little bit out of proportion.
Yeah.
And because I've had a lot of people, it's like, oh, well, you can overdose on marijuana. I was like,
Oh,
where?
yeah, so you are heavily uneducated, my friend.
Yeah.
I think that it's weird because in the 70s and 80s, right, they did such a great job at scaring people away from marijuana. And then the people who did use marijuana in the 80s and 90s are like, oh, you guys are fucking ridiculous. And they're the ones who have transcended into like, yeah, you guys are still ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that Utah's going to I think we're going to see a big shift because one thing the LDS business side of things is really good at is backstepping when it is financially good for them. And I think that they're going to see the green, no pun intended, and might make a couple changes in their financial situations to back a certain medical cannabis and be like, you know what, this whole time we were actually wrong. It's okay.
Yeah, now that we have stock in it.
Yeah, because, I mean, will we ever get recreational?
Probably not.
Probably not. At least probably not anytime soon. But I think that with how bad the opioid epidemic is here, if people start by themselves without the church start being like, well, how can I get off of it? And the doctor's like, well, there's medical marijuana.
Yeah.
I think people need to realize, like, as Please Wazer says, we could smoke big spliffs and fucking roll up blunts all day and get super high, but at the same time, some of the stuff you can get doesn't even, like, it's just meant for pain. Like, you might get a little buzz, but it's not going to be any different than, like, taking Oxycontin and being fucked up for the next 12 hours. Like,
yeah.
And being high on marijuana, like, if you've never done it, it's really, unless you just...
It was just misinterpreted. Also, I like Katie's comment there. My husband grew up out of state, and DARE program told him he'd grow tits. He smoked weed.
Is that what happened to me? Fuck. Rip the dream, boys. Oh, yeah, Eric messaged us.
Oh, he
and
did?
Said, glad you guys are doing well.
Oh,
Thank
cool.
you for watching, Eric. I miss you, my friend.
Yeah, hope you're doing well, bud.
Oh, we have the heavy breathing hotline from Salty Frank, by the way. Hold on.
Oh, fantastic.
We'll see. Maybe. We might Might get the heavy breathing hotline. I hope I'm getting charged by the minute already.
You have reached the heavy breathing hotline.
Nice. Heavy breathing hotline, people.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
He said weed's cool now. White American Jesus.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I gotta have that white American Jesus.
New strain COVID-19. That's the new weed. That's actually pretty funny. It really will put you in the hospital. Ooh, tasteless jokes. Okay.
Oh God.
I do think it's. I think though that I don't think we'll ever see Well, I think we will see recreational maybe in like
10 years.
when we're the last state and everyone's like, come on.
When the government finally decides that they want to tax it.
Yeah. Well, I think it will be federally legal before Utah has recreational.
That's what I'm getting at.
Oh,
It'll be
yeah.
forced by the federal government at that point.
The government's going to be sitting here poking Utah with a stick like, come on, do the thing.
Do the thing.
Your people will be happy.
It's kind of like that, and when they, like with the beer and everything too, that they just changed all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at what point does the people ruling over Utah realize that, like, yes, probably aren't going to be the majority for much longer? I don't even know if they are anymore.
In Utah?
Yeah.
I think it's still like 60 or 70%.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyways, I think that...
I know in certain areas it's not, but I don't think it overall is that way yet. But who knows?
Progress, baby. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Says the man with a Ouija board on the back wall.
Hey, I gotta talk to someone because Jesus isn't answering, okay?
You got the alien right there. I mean, come on, man.
True. He's a good boy.
Eric saying anything more?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, sadly.
Okay.
It'd be cool. I can actually get... we might be able to do it one night if he would want to. With Zoom. Zoom's actually a really cool app.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've done it for
I've got
school.
it on my phone. I've got it for work.
I figured out how to capture the Zoom call, which isn't really that difficult.
Yeah.
So I can actually Zoom call podcasts now.
Oh, cool.
So maybe one day, if he wants to, we could get him on and
That'd be fun.
do our own little Woods Cross reunion.
Hell yeah. We get Kyle and get a few of them.
I'm sure if I ask Chandler or Forrest, they'll want to. Maybe Manuel.
Yeah. Chandler, Forrest, and Manuel. Maybe get Kevin.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'll have to even out the plane of opinions there. We gotta get someone who'll be on Kevin's side.
Who else would join on that one?
Sure, if we ask enough people.
Yeah, we have a decent amount.
Katie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure, there's a lot of people.
Katie, yeah. Katie. And then we got.
Oh, he messaged back. Let's see. He misses us. I miss you too, Aaron.
Have him send a Snapchat. I don't have Eric on my Snapchat.
Oh, I'll just send you this.
That works. No, God, I got a million Snapchats now.
Happens.
It does. Let's see. On a non-Woods Cross one, can I attend a Zoom podcast purely to provide sound effects? That sounds pretty entertaining. I'll be 100% honest.
Yeah, I actually wanted. I've done a light test of doing a Zoom podcast, and it seemed to work fine. I just haven't done a full one yet, so maybe Salty and I can give it a go one of these nights.
Oh, there you go.
We could talk about the complete travesty that's not going in the news right now.
What's that?
Burger King changed their chicken nuggets.
Oh, I did see that.
That's fucking mayhem.
They're actually pretty good, though, now. I had them the other day. They're pretty good.
I have not, but Salty Frank was eating a steady of like 30 a day for a while, and he's pretty upset.
I had them the other day. They're okay.
Huh.
I mean,
I'm yet to give an opinion. I've not gone to Burger King, so.
hey, let's go grab dinner at Burger King
Fuck,
after this.
right. How many nuggets can we eat?
Here, let's pause the podcast. We'll be back in a half hour.
Comes to find out, we can eat a lot of them.
You remember trying when McDonald's came out their first year when they did the 50 count?
Oh yeah.
And it was like who was it? There was a bunch of us who tried to eat 50 by ourselves.
It was a lot harder than we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I think we ended up splitting like 50 between like 3 of us.
50 nuggets in theory, you're like, yeah, that seems like a lot, but like doable.
I'm down.
When you're like on like 20, you're like, oh, there's more than half left. Yeah, Salty's record is 80 nuggets. He's a nugget connoisseur.
Damn.
And he's not a hefty boy either.
I ain't judging, man. That's fun.
Sometimes the non-hefty boys can put away the most food. They used to drive me nuts in high school. Like, being around you guys, you'd like fucking eat more food than I am, and I'm like, why am I chubby? Why you guys no chubby?
Why you guys no chubby? Oh my god.
Why the fuck is this happening?
That's amazing. That's hilarious.
Oh, Salty. That's a dark, funny joke you did there.
That use takes away my fat and my
Fuck. Rip.
R.I.P. feet.
Yeah. Shouldn't be laughing, but because you said it, I will. God damn. I'm trying to think some more very, like, just, like, important things that have happened living in Utah for me. I mean, obviously everything. I've lived in Utah forever, but I don't know. I think as far as, like, high school goes, high school for me is really starting to turn into a blur just because there was not really, like, a specific event for me that was, like, that was high school in Utah, you know? Because it was, like, there were so many different things, like...
Did so many things in high school that I don't think...
It's hard to really point at one thing that was, like,
yeah.
This was high school. This was, like, the thing that defined high school for me.
Let's see, we went to football games every once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't, like, consistently do that either. We did that.
Basketball.
I mean, basketball may be the closest because we did that, like, every day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
every lunch, we'd play basketball.
We'd play lunch. We'd play at my house for hours, your house for hours.
Parks, different things. Yeah, now that I think about it, I would say definitely basketball was probably...
a decent chunk.
A decent chunk of it.
But, I mean, we also played a lot of video games.
Yeah.
Okay, I tend to Zoom to get the new high school experience. Oh, God. They'd never know.
You look like a grown-ass man. Shut up.
Shut up.
No, you.
Oh, I saw a really funny thing that somebody did with Zoom, and it was they recorded themselves with their phone, and then made it so their phone was them just moving around on a Zoom call.
Oh my God,
it's like
brilliant.
It's pretty great, actually.
I don't know. Do you remember? I don't know if this is still incriminating, so we won't use names. But do you remember when a specific person shit on that teacher's porch?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't remember
I don't
that?
remember that.
Okay, now I'll preference this story by saying, in the moment, hilarious. Looking back on it, not so funny.
I think I know who it is, but I don't remember.
The teacher was Winkleman.
Oh yeah, I do remember this. Okay.
Because for some reason we have this cult mentality that he was a very bad human being, when in reality I don't think he was. I don't know. He was a little different. He was a little odd, but that shouldn't be a reason for the punishment that poor guy got put through. But so basically, there was I'm the wrong person that's one of the halves of this show to be here talking about this, because I was not partaking in this, but there was a group of individuals who were doing like almost prank wars before it was cool on YouTube, and they would like one-up each other And I think that like the climax of this was one of them went and shit, like squatted down and pooped on the porch of one of our teachers. Yeah, church
yeah,
salty.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And I remember that it had such magnitude that even I, being associated with the group in some fashion, had to sit down and talk to a couple police officers about it. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. That dude was
Oh, shit, really? That's kind of fucked up.
That dude was an interesting one.
I never had any bad stuff with him just because, like, I don't know, I just did my own thing. So maybe I just missed it.
This is the junior high math teacher, right?
No, this is the high school history teacher.
Okay, I don't remember him, I guess. Because I never had a class with him, I don't think.
I don't know. He was just a weird guy, and, like, there was, like, a rumor that there was stuff locked in his supply closet, so maybe that's where the joke, like, was it a joke that he locked him in there, or was it serious? Because, like, but yeah, anyways, to get the long story short, yeah, he shit on their porch, and I think that, I don't remember how much trouble he got into, but it wasn't crazy amounts.
Well, and then there was the group of individuals who stole the mascot.
Yeah.
You remember who they are?
Yeah, but it wasn't everyone who thinks that it was.
No.
There's only three of them.
There's only 3 people.
Which was a good one. I liked that. So, funny. For those who don't, well, most of you probably don't know, at Woods Cross High, I don't know if there still is or there used to be a stuffed wildcat.
In a display case.
Yeah, in a display case, like pretty much right when you walk in the double doors. And there was 3 individuals who, I don't remember if it was after school or before school or...
It was after. It was at night. They broke into the school.
Yeah, they broke into the school and propped open the display case and stole the wildcat. And you know what? They would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids, because they fucking sent pictures to everybody, and then other groups tried to claim that it was them, so then they were getting mad like, oh no, we did it, look at this picture, and then it finally got back to them, and because they could have had that fucking stuffed wildcat still, but they couldn't just help but tell people.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It was a good one.
That was a good one.
Did you ever get on the roof?
I did.
Yeah, that was fun.
You ever try to get in the little tunnel things that they had?
I did in junior high, and we made it. So, God, I'm trying to remember the junior. So, where Clark's class was, the tech ed class, right? There was the door that led outside.
Yeah.
That could go to the field to your left or the portables to your right.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that little gated door that was like down a little staircase right there.
Yeah.
And we got in there one day, and there was like abandoned little like classrooms and stuff. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And I remember we walked down like a little bit of a tunnel, and then it was locked, and we were all like scared already, and then we bailed. But the rumor was, and I don't know if this is true, but they connect South Davis to Woods Cross. No,
I don't think so.
Because that would be...
That's like almost a mile.
Yeah. And that would have to go downhill pretty steep.
It would be pretty deep.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty steep.
I mean, we're talking like...
I mean, it's like a couple hundred feet in elevation change.
Yeah.
Probably about 100 foot in elevation.
Well, yeah, just from literally that intersection of...
Wildcat Boulevard and...
Yeah, well, no, up further. So when you go up the hill where Paces is at, just that...
Nilsson's?
Nilsson's. Just that elevation change alone would be really hard to, like, build a fucking tunnel. That was always the rumor. And there was kids who said that they would walk from South Davis to Woods Cross in the tunnel or whatever. And I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I went under, well, not under, but I went into the basement of South Davis. And
I was on the roof of that one, too.
I never got on the roof of South Davis.
That one was fun.
Yeah, that one was taller.
And Bolton Elementary. Done that one, too.
I was there when kids were skating on Bolton Elementary on the roof.
Didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, that one was cool. I was like, oh, fucking skate or die, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. At South Davis, I had a shitty 8th grade in South Davis. I had kind of a shitty 7th grade because of half of my own poor decisions and half of my friend group. At the time. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm still looked at as a creep by, I'm sure, a handful of people, which is sad. Regardless, if you're still judging me from something I did in 7th grade, you're probably still a child at heart. Anyways.
I mean, I ran into somebody that I went to elementary school with, and she apparently still had a rather strong opinion about something I said in 6th grade.
Oh.
And apparently still thinks that I'm that terrible of a human being.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Tell her she was a fucking idiot?
Yeah, I didn't talk to her. I didn't bother.
Ah, okay.
It wasn't worth it.
I'll show you how terrible I am. You're dumb.
Yeah.
I get, like, of course, if there's something like heinous happened, sure, you don't want to change your opinions. But...
It was me talking about something with playing an instrument. Had nothing to do with her.
Oh.
So I was like, okay.
Well,
fuck off.
Some people are stupid.
Yeah. Have you traveled in the sewers in Utah? That depends on what you mean by traveled.
I have down in Woods Cross, there used to be that same park that we shot that potato gun at. You used to be able, like, before, like, the cul-de-sacs that were, like, behind that park were made, you used to be able to go in those, and when they started building all the sewers, you could go around and, like, walk around them. I didn't do a lot of it because it was kind of fucking scary, and it's wet and gross and disgusting, and but I have.
Well, I mean, I used to work in excavation, so I've replaced a lot of sewers.
There you go. What's up, Isaac Dick? Great name, by the way. How you doing? I don't know. Did you ever go... No, this may have been out of high school. I don't remember what it's called, but there's that building that you can get on top of downtown. Fuck. A lot of people did
I'm gonna say no, because I don't think I've been on top of the building down there.
Iron Chef. What's up? Iron Chef is an Age of Empires player. And he streams.
There you go. Yeah, the other thing that... what was I going to say? What was the other thing that we used to do? Oh, did you ever go to those abandoned house?
What happened to the skinny guy? Oh, Forrest, he's taken a little bit of a break for now. He's been gone for several months now. He'll be back, though. Maybe. He might be back later. He's just taking a break, though.
And did you ever go to those, like, abandoned houses in Bountiful? There's 3 of them.
I got into the Viewmont house.
Yeah, I've been in that one.
Yeah. I never did the
one on Orchard.
Yeah, I never got into that one.
That one was creepy, man.
Was it?
I've been in that one. Yeah.
No, I never got into that one.
The person who used to live there, was a hoarder. So there's just like piles of garbage in there.
Well, then what's the third one's the one that is like you have to jump over a fence and go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the other Ted Bundy house or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember where it's at, but yeah, there's a third one.
Oh, I hope he's okay. Hope he's No, he's doing good. We just work opposite schedules now, so he works on the weekends. So he doesn't get off work until like
now.
Yeah, like maybe an hour ago, and he works 12-hour days, so it's kind of hard for.
I do remember her.
Come on. Y'all remember Mrs. Wilson?
Wilson.
Oh, she was the one that was in. Was she the English teacher? No.
What did she teach? No, interesting.
A World War II vet. That's sad he died, but it's kind of an interesting thing to be able to clean out.
I think Whittleson, wasn't she the art teacher? I can't remember now.
Yeah, she was.
It's either the art teacher, because...
I have a confession to make. I cheated on every single art thing that was in that class because I'm not an artist. I had my mom do them for me. Sorry, teacher. Containers of water.
Interesting.
Thousands of them. Like empty containers or just like...
Containers of water. I don't know, maybe. Don't ask me. Is it kind of like the signs set up?
Like any kind of... Oh.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. That art class, that was a bleach bottle. Wilson was the English teacher from what I remember. Oh, that's right.
What's up, Anthony?
Anthony.
Bleach bottles, old shampoo bottles? What? That's kind of a weird one. Did anyone know him? Did he have like a weird incident with water? It's kind of sad.
Remind me who Anthony is.
I'll pull up a picture.
He was drawing a blank here.
He was a year younger than us.
I'm still drawing a blank.
He was on. He's been on the podcast once.
We watched a couple episodes.
Oh,
Get
you're
100%
cool.
off. So
You're cool.
Honest.
That episode actually, you know what? That episode didn't go up because, yeah, reasons. Someone was a little. Someone got quite drunk and was being a little bit too wild. God, your fucking Facebook picture, primo.
Oh, yeah, okay. I do remember. Okay.
Yeah, I remember Wilson.
Oh, being without water. Okay, interesting.
Apparently during the war, he was running the Pacific during the war and was definitely... That's crazy. That's kind of sad, to be honest, but...
PTSD is an interesting thing, man.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we'll have a better understanding of
mental health issues
and be able to help a little more.
That was a good time.
That was a good time, yeah, because I was the one who got fucking kissed. Yeah, it got wild.
Oh, boy.
I don't even know if I ended up putting that one on Patreon just because I was like, I don't know. It wasn't... There was funny moments for sure. But the problem was it was Anthony's first time on, and I wanted to actually talk to him. But, like, it just got taken over by Drunk McGee.
Who was the drunk person?
Chandler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He was drinking that evening. No, the kissing one where it was Forrest and Chandler kissed definitely went live. The one where I got kissed, no. It was live here on Twitch, but it never got put up anywhere else. Iron Chef said she said it drove him nuts and caused her mother to leave him. He dies lonely.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That is sad.
There's still a clip, though.
I would have been pooping that. Oh, I bet you would have Cocos. Oh, is there still a clip of me getting kissed? Oh, fuck. All right, well.
Chandler kissing you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. I haven't seen Chandler in forever.
Yeah, well, you know. The internet will follow you forever, so.
That's fair.
That's okay.
That's funny.
It happens. It was an interesting podcast. It just, when I went back and listened to it, it was a little bit more awkward than funny.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Sending a message.
I'm off to grind 1v1s. Sounds like
good luck, man. If you're streaming, I'll hit you with a host after we're done here. If not, good luck. Get that Age of Empires grind on.
There you go.
I really think I want to jump on and do some like ladder grinding in Age of Empires, because I think I'm starting to... I've watched enough that in theory I know a good build, but I haven't practically tried it yet. So we'll see. What's up, Mad? Or Meadows? What's going on here? It's a podcast. Welcome. My name is Wes. This is Ryan.
Hello.
We're talking about living in Utah, amongst other things.
Amongst many, many other things.
Many things. I don't know. So tell me about your college experience here in Utah. We can kind of close out on this, because I'll have to head out of here in about 25 minutes.
College experience.
Because I went to Slick, right? And Slick, depending on how much you want to be like involved in stuff, is kind of like a high school extended. And I don't mean that necessarily in a negative way, but it's still very like... I don't know. I felt like it was such a weird variety of people that it was fun because you got so many different perspectives, but at the same time, like, that commingling of, like, 17, 18-year-old kids right out of high school with, like, 35, 40-year-olds who are trying to join a different career because they're tired of theirs doesn't always end up being a good thing.
No, I'd agree with that.
I'll give you a funny, well, I don't even know if it was funny. It was just fucking downright awkward. So I was it was my first semester, and this class was completely useless, no offense to the teacher, because she was fine. But it was a college prep class, and I thought I needed to take it because I didn't know what I was getting into. And it still went towards my associates, which is great. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just like a waste of money, but it was a lot of like very dumb things. Anyways, we were sitting in class one day, and there was these two girls in the back, maybe 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. Maybe 20 at the most. Very still like showing up to class, fully glammed up, sitting on their phones, jibber jabbering about whatever it is. Just very like in their own little world still, not realizing, we're in college and we're paying for this. So like don't fucking talk.
See you later, Katie.
Good night. Pet your dog once for me. Say he's a good boy. So there was a day where like they were talking a lot, and the teacher had got after them like twice or whatever. And there was this lady who sat in the corner who you could tell. This is gonna sound rude, but like life's been difficult. We're just gonna say that. Okay, and like she like lost her shit. Like they kept talking, and she looks back and she's like, "You need to shut the fuck up." And the girl's like, finally realizing that we're all adults in this class, like was like baffled that someone was speaking to her like this. Like it was her first take. And the teacher was like, stop that whole thing from going on. And then like later in class, she had like coughed. Right? And then like it was at the direction of this lady, and I don't think it was on purpose. But the lady's like, hey, don't cough on me. And like, that's fair, right? Mm-hmm. You get one warning. This is pre-COVID, people, so keep that in mind. Well, she does it again, but it almost was like a drastic cough at her. And this lady lost her fucking mind. And she was a bigger lady, so she really had to fit into those little desks. And she, like, kind of stood up with half the desk off the floor and, like, just started yelling at this girl. And then, like, slammed the desk into the wall and, like, stormed out. And I'm sitting there just with my head in my hand like, oh, my God. I should have went for a scholarship. Fuck!
So, my experience in college was kind of interesting. I mean, I went to Utah State. There's a large population of LDS people up there.
Yep.
So, my favorite part about this was I went up there with next to no friends around. I went up and lived with 3 returned missionaries.
Oh, interesting.
And none of them existed because they all had girlfriends that lived in the same building. So they would literally do everything but sleep in the same bed with them.
Oh, nice.
So it was like I saw them an hour a day. It was pretty hilarious.
Perfect.
But it was like winters in Logan are awful.
Right.
As a note. First winter I was up there, it was like negative 27 with like a 50-mile-an-hour wind. It was awful. That was the worst day. But then there was like a bunch of days below 0 and stuff like that. But I had interesting interactions with different like roommates. So I had a bunch of roommates in the summer that I lived up there the next summer. And ended up living with a guy that was also named Ryan.
Oh.
He was a nice guy. Was rather terrified to let me know that he was gay for the first 3 months we lived together.
That's sad.
It was. When I finally asked him if him and the guy that he said was his friend that stayed the night for like a week straight was his boyfriend, he finally was like, oh, thank God, I've been trying to figure out how to ask you if you were okay with this. And I was like, hey, man, you do you. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then...
Sorry, one thing. To preface, I said it's sad that he was scared to ask. Not sad because he's gay, but it's sad that in 2020 he still has to worry about people.
Yeah, well, because he knew I grew up LDS, so
right.
he didn't know what my opinion on that was.
Especially here in Utah. But
yeah.
Sorry. Continue.
And then later on, we ended up having a little bit of a falling out when we moved out, which was fine. And then I ended up living with a guy we went to Woods Cross. His name is Dylan Mehmet.
Oh, yeah. I don't know him, but I remember the name, yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up being roommates for a while, and we had a little bit of a disagreement on what bedtime was. And I ended up moving out about halfway through our lease. So I ended up paying rent in 2 places. And then I moved into an apartment where it was its own building, had no attachments. And it was interesting because, I mean, I kind of just fell deep into the Magic community.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually at one point in time had like 18 grand in Magic cards.
Where is it?
I sold them all.
Damn.
I still have probably about $1,000 or so, but
I love Magic.
Magic's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Have you played Arena? Do you play Arena?
No, I will though. If
Okay,
you can get me into it.
I'll get you into it. Okay, but yeah, so I fell into this Magic community, and I have a lot of good friends in the Magic community. I mean, a lot of people that you would not expect to be like normal people, I guess, or like someone you wouldn't expect to be like really chill. Because a lot of people don't give the Magic community like any. Oh, it's just a bunch of like they use neck beards. They don't shower. I mean, yes, there are those people here
For sure.
and that's not. I have no problem with that. But there's a lot of people, and it's just like normal people.
To go off of that, I have a new show on here. Next week will be its 2nd episode. It's called Jiggle Physics Anime Club. Okay.
Oh boy.
And joke name, right? But the whole idea is like we're just 4 normal dudes who just really enjoy anime. And
that's the one with the Elfin Light or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not the idea isn't to break down the stereotype.
Okay.
The same with like the Magic thing, like when people think, "Oh, you watch anime," there's an immediate like
judgment. When
in reality, like I'm just a normal dude who enjoys watching good shows. Like of course there's anime that's weird and fucked up, but there's weird movies, there's weird TV shows, everything.
Yeah.
So there's such a stigma. So I get that, like with the Magic community, like.
Yeah, and I can see it, but there's a lot of people that play it that aren't.
No, they're just fucking like games. Like.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I enjoy Magic a lot. Actually, I still play it with friends all the time. In fact, I'm going to a friend's house next Saturday to play it.
Nice.
So I got really into the Magic community, and that actually gave me like this stable piece to college that actually gave me friends to hang out with. Because I didn't really have any friends up there for a long time. And then I fell into this, like, I met this guy up there. His name's Taylor. He's hilarious. But he likes bowling. And so we met in a bowling class, and then that's how I ended up in the Magic community. But then I also fell into this thing of where I went bowling like 4 or 5 times a week. So it was like Magic and bowling became college. And so now I'm in a bowling league now.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I like bowling. What's your average?
190.
Oh, never mind. Maybe we shouldn't go bowling.
I love going. Actually, so this is an interesting aside, but I love going bowling with people. I don't bowl to beat people. I bowl to beat myself.
Yeah.
Bowling for me is a personal competition, not a competition with other people. I have a couple friends that are decently good at bowling or really close to my skill level that I compete with, but it's a friendly competition.
Yeah, no, bowling is definitely a personal game, right?
So bowling for me has always been a personal competition, and I love going bowling with anyone, and a lot of people don't like going bowling with somebody who's good at it because they're like, oh, well, I can't ever beat them. And it's like, well, I have fun either way. I don't really care.
Yeah, no, I think the reality is, too, like, because bowling is one of the only games, like maybe golf, where you could go and try and be better against someone, but at the end of the day, like, you're just trying to make your average better.
Yeah.
And you don't have a team around you that you have to worry about.
Yeah.
I like bowling. I like darts, too. Darts is fun.
Darts is fun. I don't really have anywhere I play that, but...
Anthony said, on a side note, when I went to college right out of high school, there was a guy in his mid-30s who would buy us all the booze and marijuana, allegedly. And now I'm TikTok. So, yeah, I'm saying it's the best for your brain. TikTok.
That's pretty
So do you watch... Anthony, you watch your mom's house, then? Because because I think that's where TikTok came from. God damn it. And sorry, Meadows, I saw your comment. Is it Utah or Iowa that just gave over control of the courts to Native Americans in 50% of their state? I believe it must have been Iowa.
I think it's Iowa because it wasn't Utah.
Yeah, I don't think it was here.
But yeah, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Okay. Well,
Salty says, yeah, I wish I didn't watch 4 anime to complete last month, so I'm not sure where I stand on normal consumption or not. Magic fans are so tight-knit because they all tap that together. That's hilarious.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, your mom's house is...
It's pretty
so
entertaining because one of my friends that plays in Magic is a woman.
Yeah?
And they're generally few and far between.
Right.
And she hates it because every time she walks into a Magic store, they always assume she knows nothing about the game. Or they try to hit on her every time.
Of course.
And it's like, this is hilarious.
Okay, so I have this guy that I work with. His name is Brennan.
Okay.
And he's pretty heavy into the Magic community. And he was telling me that I don't know if this is... Arena's the online thing, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, he was telling me there's a new format of Magic.
Yep, historic.
Yeah, where it's like teams almost, right?
Oh, so that's Brawl.
Brawl. I thought that was interesting because I played Magic to go back to, Utah stories. I got into Magic at South Davis because of Mr. Brower.
I loved that.
So in our junior high in South Davis, for those of you who live in Utah, for those of you who don't, doesn't matter to you, but there was a teacher who held Magic Club once a week after school from I think it was 4 to 6 or 4 to 7. Yeah. And it was so interesting because it really, maybe I'll reach out to him and write him a thank you note. It really helped me, and this sounds dumb, but it helped me get through that growing pain of hating life as a junior high kid like everyone does.
Yeah. Because
I was able to go there, I was able to focus on this game that I enjoyed, but then there was kids who never stopped going to the Magic Club. So there was kids who were in their 20s and they were still going every, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, to Mr. Brower's Magic Club.
Yeah.
Just to play. And we would go in there and he would break the facade of being a teacher. He was just another player, and there would be other junior high kids, but it was a cool thing.
Yeah. I only went once that I can remember, but yeah, it was really fun. I used to play with my cousins. That's who got me into Magic, so it was fun.
Yeah, I've been on and off. I haven't built an actual deck in a while, and funny enough, so when I started hanging out with James and him and Weston were living in a house in West Bountiful. And we would that would usually be the things, we would go to work and we'd get off work and we'd go hang out until god-awful hours in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one night where we went over to Walmart and we were looking at cards and stuff. I'm like, oh, Magic, have you guys ever played? I'm no, I don't know what it is. I'm oh, fuck. So I bought everyone a starter deck and was teaching them how to play and different things like that. And that was kind of the last time I really got into it. But it's just fun. And if you like tactical games, it
is officially the most complicated game in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it has over 30, it's almost 40,000 cards that all do different things.
Yeah. I went on top of the whole, I don't know. I'm sure we could have our own podcast where we just talk about Magic, but...
Oh, there are many.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Yeah. There are tons out there. I don't know. The last deck that I really built and was playing, trying to test results was a Slither deck. I was one of those kids.
You were a sliver player, huh?
Yeah, I was an asshole.
Oh, I am Cancer in Magic. I have played every version of Cancer. Because that's what a lot of the decks, people are like, that is just straight Cancer. And I was like, oh, I know. Because I like playing Magic where you don't play Magic.
Yeah. You get one turn.
So the deck I played was called Stacks. And what it was is I literally played a deck that said, hey, you know that thing called playing Magic? Yeah, you're not going to do that. I'm going to play Magic and do my own thing. You're also not going to do that.
You're going to watch me do this.
Because I had all the things that was hey, I'm going to make your everything cost more. I'm going to make it so you have no land. I was one of those. I still am, actually. 100% still am.
So was it just like low, and then you would get like a low level monster out and just kind of poke while they can't get anything out?
No, I would play. So the deck I played was in Legacy. It was the second most powerful format, and it was an artifact deck. So what it would do is like on turn 1, I'd play a land that tapped for 2 mana, and I'd put out a 2 mana thing that made it so you couldn't play any 1-drop spells.
Oh.
It would counter all 1-drop spells. It's called Chalice of the Void.
Yep.
It's an X-drop artifact that says put X amount of counters on it. Any spell that is cast that has X amount of converted mana cost is countered. So I'd play that on turn 1. Turn 2, I'd play another land that tapped for 2 mana, and I'd play a 4-drop that says all non-artifact spells cost 1 more, and it is a 5/3 4-drop called Lodestone Golem.
Oh.
And if they didn't deal with him, he was going to kill them.
Right.
Or there's the option of going the Metalworker route. So Metalworker's a 3-drop.
Okay.
That's a 1/2 artifact that says tap, reveal any number of artifacts from your hand. For each artifact you reveal, you get 2 colorless mana. So the possibility is do you know what Blightsteel Colossus is?
Yeah.
The fastest I could play a hasty Blightsteel was turn 3.
Jesus.
So I would punch you for 11 infect on turn 3.
So, okay, let me ask you this. We're getting technical. In Legacy, you have a limit to how many numbers of the same card you can have, right?
That would be Vintage.
Oh, okay.
Vintage, there are some cards that are restricted. They actually banned the first card ever in Vintage the other day.
Okay.
So what the restricted list is that you can have one of that card in your deck. You can't have more than one, though. So in Legacy has a ban list, so you can there are cards that are banned.
Right, because that tries to keep up with the most concurrent cards, right?
Legacy? No. So Legacy's every card ever printed with a ban list.
Okay, so what?
Standard is the one that's the last 3 sets.
Okay, I got you now.
And then there's Modern, who is from 2003 forward, 2002 forward.
Okay.
Then there's Legacy, which is all cards with a ban list.
Gotcha.
And it's just an interesting format. It's very expensive to get into because it plays with a lot of the original printed cards, like the original duels, if you've ever heard of them.
Yes.
Their cheapest one is like $200. The most expensive is about $600 or $700, and you'd have to have 3 or 4 of them in some of the decks.
Right. Well, and then we could talk about the Holy Grail.
Black Lotus?
Yeah.
You couldn't play that in Legacy. That's Vintage.
That's Vintage.
And
I just mean Holy Grail as in, like, if you were to ever come across one and get it graded for 10, it's probably what, like,
there's
60,000?
not a single 10 graded Lotus. There's a 9.9, I believe, and the last time it sold was like $29,000 or something like that.
It's crazy.
But I actually owned a piece of Power for a while. I had a Time Twister, which
Really?
is
I've heard of it.
yeah, it's one of the lesser Power cards, but I mean it was like a $1,400 card when I had it. It wasn't the most expensive I ever owned. I owned a Tabernacle of Pendrevale, and it was three grand.
Were you just buying to collect, or were you buying?
Oh no, I was playing. I had every Legacy deck in the meta except for like 3.
Wow.
So my collection was very vast.
Salty says, I want to learn Magic really well, but learn a deck that makes it look like you were losing for half of it and turns around really fast, and I'll speak really high-pitched. For half of it, stand up, make a praise, the sun motion, and maybe turn my cap around or something, go in normal deep voice.
There's a very large community around a deck that does exactly that.
Because, like, I've played Hearthstone. Did you ever get into Hearthstone?
I didn't like Hearthstone.
No?
I played, there's a game that was made by, like, the owners of Channel Fireball. Eternal. You ever play that? It's on Steam.
I haven't.
It's decent. I played, and then they came out with Arena, and I pretty much just exclusively play that because I can play Magic without having any problems. But they came out with a new format called Historic, which is only on Arena. And it's standard plus all the cards they have on Arena, and they're coming out with cards on there.
Okay.
And it's a lot of fun.
So my problem with Hearthstone is I played Hearthstone when it first came out. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't stick with it. I played for maybe like 5-6 months and fell off. And then I had a buddy come on here, and he was playing Hearthstone. I started getting the itch for it. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go back and play Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
To be relevant in Hearthstone, it's like $400+.
Yeah.
Is that similar with Magic Arena, or just Arena?
It can be. So what you could make one deck for probably about. You could spend $50 and have a deck.
Okay, that's not bad.
Or you could just play and get packs. It is kind of the entry cost is a little bit there. I've been playing it for a while. I have that entry cost as much, but
is it like Pokemon where if I buy a pack of cards, I get a code card?
Not in real life, unfortunately.
Because I've steady been collecting Pokemon cards for a while. I don't talk about it a lot, but something I enjoy.
No. That's why I played Magic to collect it. I still have a lot of Magic cards that I bought to collect them.
Yeah.
I didn't actually play with a lot of them. Some of them I did. Like, I have a couple German cards that are really cool. I have so there's a card called Winter Orb. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's another stack piece that everybody hates. Because what it does is it makes it so if it's untapped, it's a 2-drop. If it's untapped, you only get to untap one land a turn.
That's fucked
everybody.
up.
But you can play it without you can play it without spending money. I just enjoy spending money on some things that I spend a lot of time on doing. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so it's called Frostbringer in German.
Okay.
So and it's just really cool sounding. So, but it's a really fucked up card. A lot of people don't like it.
Yeah, I wonder why.
A lot of people did not enjoy playing Magic against me.
Yeah.
Because I played decks that were like, yeah, I want to play Magic, but I don't want you to play Magic with me.
I get it. Because I was playing Pokemon online for a little while, and I was running a deck.
Eric had me back.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I was running a deck that was pretty cancerous, too. And I don't remember all the names of the cards because it's been a hot minute, but basically I would get a defense force up, and I would evolve my backline into... God, what's his name? I don't know. It's a new age, weird looking Pokemon. It almost looks like he has a fucking bow and arrow. And every turn, every time it was my turn, that unit could put 30 damage counters on anybody. So if I were to get like 4 of them on my back line, every single turn I would just
damage.
Yeah, I would just start my turn with 120 damage, and it's a 6. All you have to do is kill 6 Pokemon to win.
Yeah.
So if I get one of them out, I'm going to kill at least a backline unit in 2 turns. And it worked. It was kind of cancerous because people would get mad because I would just rotate out my tanks and then heal them and then let my backline just shoot people for, 9 or 10 turns.
That's kind of what I did. It's like I played a lot of things that make it so you can't play Magic, and then I'm going to punch you with this giant thing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I've always been a card game guy. Like
I have too.
There's something about it that I don't know. Strategy wise, like I'm a board game guy too, though.
Same here.
Like, I just love board games. Like I just played my first match of Settlers of Catan with my girlfriend and a couple of her friends.
It's a great game.
Yeah. Goddamn right, I won my first match. Goddamn right.
You buy gray sneakers and mayonnaise. There you go.
Damn, you right. Welcome. How'd you know that, average husband?
Yeah, I don't know. I really like board games, and I've played more games of Settlers of Catan than I can count.
Yeah.
Is the LSD edition?
It is.
It is.
No.
It's a board game edition, isn't it?
No, I think it's just a classic one.
Oh, you're right. Well, no, the Ouija board is a board game as well.
Oh, yeah.
Have you played board game Pandemic? I've played the mobile version of that.
Yeah, I don't think I've played the board game.
That was the game where the Pokemon defended over it with a hand and then burned it with a lighter. I don't know. I mean, there used to be that in Magic. They actually have cards that you can bet things with.
Yeah.
And they banned them all because they actually ran into issues with gambling rights and gambling laws. But there's a set called Unhinged where there's a card that is very expensive because not a lot of them exist any longer. because what it says is when you play this card, rip it into tiny pieces and throw it in the air,
Really?
and anything it lands on, destroy.
It's cute that you packed your backpack to stay over at your friend's house.
I'm talking about my backpack in the corner
I
here.
guess so. That's funny.
I did.
Average husband coming in with the fire jokes tonight.
No. I packed my backpack. It doesn't have any clothes in it, but that's okay.
I want to do. I like board game nights just because.
Let's do it.
I don't know. They're good times. I actually just went and bought because I'm trying to get a board game night going with some people. There's one. I don't remember the name of it. It's you basically get a case file and you have to solve like a missing persons or a murder or whatever. And they give you a bunch of like half the files. You got to put everything together. And then there was a Shining board game where someone plays as Jack and the rest of them's like I don't know if you play as like survivors or how it works or if it's like the house that's doing everything. But
you're talking about Betrayal in the House on the Hill.
no, the game's called The Shining.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
But I think it's the same idea.
Betrayal is an amazing game.
Yeah, I think it's like their version of Betrayal.
Yeah. I'm just glad someone is finally laughing instead of banning. Hey, man, as long as they're good jokes, we won't ban you.
I always tell people, and Salty Frank, yeah, he
pretty much hit that on the head right there.
you know. His stained shirts whisper semi-racist. I always tell people my shirt is stained, which is actually kind of awkward.
Mine actually is not. It's just got some weird coloring.
So this stuff right here is called RTV, and it's something that I use at my work, and it's like this bonding adhesive.
It just never comes off.
You never.
I used to work at a place we used this stuff called NP1.
Oh yeah.
And NP1 does not come off.
The NP1 stays for a lifetime. And I'm realizing that I don't wear this shirt specifically to work, and I did one day on accident because I have a lot of black shirts.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I happened to get two only, maybe three little drops of RTV on there. This shirt's been washed for like 6 months and still hasn't came off.
But the alien poster impresses all the high schoolers you invited over for your house parties.
You're right.
You're probably right.
Yeah. When I finally put this up, I was like, damn, I don't know if I like this that much, but I've kept it up so far. The picture made it look way cooler when I ordered it off Amazon. Now it just kind of looks like a fucking...
Oh, yeah. I mean...
looks like something like a 14-year-old edgy girl would make in her
That is so true.
house.
No, she'd make like a curtain out of it, not even hanging on her wall.
She's sitting there smoking cigarettes because she thinks she's cool, and she's like, life's so hard, no hope. I can't wait to get tattoos on my knees.
Yeah, exactly. We're good sports, huh? Well,
I always tell people if they're going to come in and make jokes, like, at least be good. Like,
yeah, if you make me laugh, I don't got any problem with it.
Nope. I'm all about... We're on the internet. I think it's weird when people get butthurt when they're streaming or, like, I don't know, and they don't expect people to come in with good jokes. Like,
yeah. The funny part about this keyboard, there's a good story to it that I was just told today.
Yeah, so this keyboard, when we first got set up, we were realizing, like, man, it's going to be a pain in the ass to
Get set up.
to try and, like, control stuff on screen and still sit back here. So my buddy works a cleaning job, and they throw away a bunch of stuff, and he found this in the dumpster. And we've had it now going on, like, 2 years. Works fucking great. Logitech, baby, made to last. I mean, aside from like this weird unknown substance over the delete and the F11 button, keyboard's in decent condition.
Red shirt looks like he's related to Moses Schrute. Don't know who that is, but I'm down. Let's look. Moses Schrute.
Oh, is that the dude from fucking Letterkenny? Oh, no, from The Office.
No.
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I've never seen the dude before, but I could see it.
Yeah. Oh, that's...
God, that hairline.
You cut your hair like that?
Please. I am so down. Let me go get a straight edge.
Is that like... It's like it wants to be a bowl cut, but it's not.
That's why I said, let me go get a straight edge.
God damn.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Damn, I'm trying to close stuff with this keyboard, though. The Office.
The Office, Schroot's brother. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The Subway knows your first name. Funny enough, I did work at a Subway and refused to eat there because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck Subway.
There was a point in time where I was going to the local Subway, and when they saw me, they just started making my sandwich.
Yeah.
Ripperino, boys. Ripperino. But I do have to get out of here for the evening.
Fucking nailed it.
Fucking nailed it.
You're not wrong.
Thank you for coming in, Average Husband. Dropping us with some good laughs. But yeah, we're going to have to call it for this episode. I will be back tomorrow with the month's Read Between the Wines book, which is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a great book.
Oh, she's
goddamn. Two lovers spread. Thanks, boys. You know me too well.
You guys have been great. Thanks for letting me go.
Yeah,
hey,
of
anytime,
course.
man.
Anytime. For those of you who don't follow us on anything else, everything's down below. Come check us out live if you're listening to us on Spotify or iTunes or different things like that. And I'm sure Ryan will be back sooner or later.
Oh, I'm sure.
If not with another guest, which could be interesting. Yeah, Average Husband, I'll get a follow back on you, my guy. Thank you for following us. But yeah, do you have anything you want to plug? I know you're not really a social guy.
No, we're good.
Guy.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. All right, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.